Radio, I'm Lisa Brady. The Democratic nominee reaching out to Bernie Sanders supporters and Republicans on a hot-button issue for the economy. Fox Radio's Jared Halpern, live in Washington.
On a factory floor outside of Detroit, Hillary Clinton made her economic pitch to working and middle-class voters.
My message to every worker in Michigan and across America is this. I will stop any trade deal that kills jobs or holds down wages.
Including the Democratic nominee says the Trans-Pacific Partnership favored by President Obama. It's a similar promise as one made by Republican nominee Donald Trump, but Clinton challenges Trump's seriousness. Lisa.
Jared, Hillary Clinton also wants more infrastructure spending and a tax hike on the rich. Donald Trump in Miami Beach.
The people are starting to really get it. I mean, the people understand. They're smart.
Telling home builders before Clinton's speech she'll just be 4 more years of President Obama and hurt the middle class instead of helping. Some 70 Republicans so far signing a draft letter that calls Trump dishonest, ill-prepared, and incompetent. They plan to send it to party chair Reince Priebus.
These petitioners, which include members of past presidential campaigns going back to the Reagan administration. It includes lots of former members of the Republican National Committee, as well as some former members of Congress. And they're saying that the RNC should stop giving money and resources to the Trump campaign if he doesn't curb his rhetoric.
Fox's Carl Cameron in Kissimmee, where Trump holds a rally later today. Despite successful efforts to legalize marijuana in some states, it will remain an illegal drug under federal law. The DEA refusing to take it off the list of drugs considered dangerous with no accepted medical use. However, the government is open to possible expansion of the number of agencies legally growing pot for medical research. Record day on Wall Street, the Dow up 117 to a new closing high after hitting an all-time high in the session. Fair and balanced.
QL1, this is Control, checking in to see how excited you are for launch. Over? Well, actually, Control, I'm kind of bored. I think you cut out, QL1. It sounded like you said you were bored. That's affirmative, Control. You're about to travel 17,000 miles per hour through Earth's atmosphere, and you're bored? It just doesn't sound that exciting after using Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. I was able to get a completely online custom mortgage approval in minutes. All right, you cut out for sure this time. Did you say I can get a mortgage approval in minutes? That's right, Control. Minutes. Whether you're purchasing a new house or refinancing your existing home, Rocket Mortgage securely pulls your pay stubs and bank statements to build you a custom mortgage solution so you get exactly what you want. Wow, that is exciting. Yep, definitely better than months of dehydrated ice cream and powdered orange drink. 3, 2, 1. Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket.
Visit for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
A woman who once sought to disguise a planned journey to join ISIS as her honeymoon gets 12 years in prison on a terrorism charge. Vicksburg native Jalen Young pleaded guilty in March to one count of conspiring to provide material support to a terrorist organization. Her fiancé pleaded guilty to a similar charge set for sentencing later this month. A search continues in Arizona for a little boy who's been missing for more than 3 weeks.
Police in Buckeye are getting help from the FBI as they look for 10-year-old Jesse Wilson. They've been specifically searching a large field near his home. Chief Larry Hall told reporters that given the amount of time he's been gone, they're looking at this as a possible recovery operation.
Unfortunately, this scenario is the worst-case scenario, and this is a scenario that we have to understand that could have occurred. We can't be naive to this, so we have to do our due diligence and conduct these searches.
Wilson's mother called police after she said she put him to bed on July 18th and noticed a few hours later he was missing. Wilson has been known to slip away from his home before and walk around the neighborhood.
Fox Radio's Jessica Rosenthal. In South Carolina, a high school football player is dead.
Lewis Simpkins collapsed near the end of a 2-hour football practice Wednesday night. Why? They don't know yet, as officials at River Bluff High School await autopsy results. Athletic trainers and a coach started CPR and used a defibrillator on Simpkins until paramedics arrived, but to no avail. The 14-year-old sophomore was pronounced dead at Lexington Medical Center. A school spokeswoman says players took water breaks every 15 to 20 minutes and water hoses and coolers were always available. The team will not practice Thursday, gathering only to share their grief, and a preseason football scrimmage Friday has been canceled. Dave Anthony, Fox News.
Again, Wall Street, the Dow up 117, a new closing high of 18,613. The S&P 500 also with a record close. Lisa Brady, Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast from the National Weather Service, brought to you by Chief Bauer. If you need an AC expert, and I think today you might.
It is really hot out.
Give Chief Bauer service experts a call at 866-EXPERTS or visit online at chiefbauer.com.
Make sure those pets have water.
Oh, that's true.
Right?
And don't keep them in a car.
I mean, a dog, they can't go and fill up their own water bowl.
No, they can't.
So make sure they've got water.
Or at least leave the toilet bowl open. So they can access that.
Well, if they're inside, you should have the AC.
And if they're big enough to reach it.
Right.
Tonight is 75 for the low. That's the low is 75. Tomorrow, 88. Sunny, and then chance of thunderstorms in the evening with the low of 72. Saturday looks to be rainy, dissipating as we get into the evening hours with the high of 82, 67 the low. Next week, cooling off a little bit. Right now it is 92, sunny, and it feels like, no kidding, 110.
It's the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lante, Mike Carpenter. Mike Carpenter has already ruined my day, ruined my week, ruined my 3-day vacation. Although it's not really a vacation because I'm working the other job. But I'm
going on vacation.
Yeah, you're going on vacation.
That's right.
So maybe it's ruined yours. I don't know. No, it has.
Should we just get right to it?
Here in a second.
Okay.
Because I want to delay everybody. We've got some big news coming up. I saw a tweet from you saying we're going to visit with Frank Cusimano from KSDK in St. Louis. I used to watch Frank and Mike Bush and a lot of those guys, Malcolm Briggs, Trey Wingo, when they were in the St. Louis market. Of course, Trey now has made his way to ESPN, does a lot on NFL football for ESPN. But Frank Cusimano has been one of those guys that has hung around St. Louis and has been one of the linchpins, I guess if you would say, in the sports market area. With besides TV, also does a lot of radio. And today, now we'll get to it. Today, he tweeted out something that Illini basketball fans, you're not going to like. I'm already getting ripped on Twitter. Saying it's my fault.
Oh,
no, I think they're
jinx.
joking. They're joking. They're saying I jinxed it. But yeah, this isn't official.
No.
But this could be some really, really tough news to absorb if you're an Illini basketball fan.
This is the tweet from Frank Cusimano, who again will be joining us at 4:45. You can follow him on Twitter at Frank_Cusimano. That's CUSUMANO. The tweet from earlier this afternoon reads, fans of SLU Billikens, I believe, are going to get some great news about the best basketball player in St. Louis, Jordan Goodwin, soon.
Wow.
That was a tweet earlier today. Now, we're efforting Derek Piper, who I feel a little bit bad for, and he is good for 325. So Derek Piper will hop on with us to give us a little bit of his take, because he was able to talk.
Following Frank right now.
You should, okay.
I thought I've been doing that already, but I guess not.
Derek Piper has spoken to a few people.
Okay.
He spoke to Jeremiah Tillman.
Got it.
He also spoke to, let me see, I want to make sure this name is right, Frazier, who is the AAU coach.
Of the Eagles now.
Of the St. Louis Eagles right now.
Okay.
The other coach whose name has been kind of going around this process has been Corey Tate, who was an assistant over at Missouri and is now an assistant with SLU.
Okay.
Go figure.
And I think has a background with Jordan Goodwin.
That's correct. So here we are. We saw the top 5 or top 7 get released from Jordan Goodwin. I think we all felt pretty good.
Oh, I felt great.
And then I think
made me feel even better.
And then for those that, Jeremy and Derek, they have to go and cover this and say, well, let's kind of handicap the chances of each of these places.
Right.
And everyone threw SLU and they threw even Northwestern a little bone.
Yeah.
But we all kind of knew.
Yes.
Game over. You got Jeremiah Tillman. You got a great class.
Boom.
Things are on the upswing. And then it feels like you get the rug pulled out from under you.
Wow.
Now, I hate to conflate this with other recruiting misses.
Okay.
They are all their own unique little failures.
And again, this isn't official yet, right? This is not official.
This is true. It is not official, and I should probably caution myself and not try to frame it as such.
Correct.
But certainly that Twitter thing is not good, and we'll talk to Derek and try to get some more clarification about what this is. But as an Illinois fan, though, it's so hard to not go down the rabbit hole of self-loathing and sports depression, because that things like this are always around the corner.
Oh, yeah.
For Illinois, they're always around the corner.
Yep.
Now, many schools, listen.
There's a lot of schools in the same boat.
Yeah, but man, does it happen at a really high percentage for Illinois and for John Gross.
Right. We magnify glass Illinois because we talk about them all the time. We're a fan. First and foremost, we're a fan. Number 2, we try to be professional on the air, obviously, and talk about this. But initially, this tweet from Frank Cusimano down in St. Louis is saying SLU could get some good news. he's talking about Jordan Goodwin. He's not talking about another recruit.
Well, and he's been a guy that's been in that St. Louis market for a long time. He's not going to throw himself out there.
That's correct.
And this is why I'm anxious to get Derek on, and we'll wait to divulge this. And this is another reason to join Illini Inquirer and get a premium membership. And I'm not saying that to sell it for them, but as someone that is able to peruse the content that continues to go up there.
Same here.
Wow.
Right.
And this is the first source. This is something, let's put it this way. It is not contradictory of what Frank Cusimano tweeted.
Okay.
It is unsettling because when you look at Jordan Goodwin, when we got Jeremiah Tillman, that was a great day.
Oh, no doubt.
Anytime you get a 5-star player of that caliber, that's huge for the program. You look at the class as constructed. Hopefully DeMonte finds his way.
Yeah.
I think he will,
I think he will, too. I really do.
He's a raw talent. Javon Pickett, we'll wait and see. Trent Frazier is someone that I feel like we've kind of been sleeping on because he's a Florida kid.
That'd be a priority
and
now.
We may even have him next weekend.
Exactly.
But Jordan Goodwin, for a long time, and deservedly so, has been the recruit circled on all of it. That if most people, if you would have asked him, which one recruit do you think could honestly change the fortunes of Illinois basketball?
Yes.
And the frustrating thing is that it appears as if one reason, and this is only just logic working here, that a reason to go to SLU would be, well, I get to be the alpha dog.
Yeah.
I get to be number one. It's my team.
Right.
My argument would be this. You would still be alpha dog and number one at Illinois.
I think John Gross and his staff has sold that to him, don't you think?
I would think.
That's speculation on my end. I mean, I'm sure coaches don't sit there and say, you come on day one, ball's yours, you do what you want. I think most coaches would say you've got to earn it. You've got to earn your playing time. If Jordan Goodwin came here and was horrible his freshman year in camp, I doubt maybe Illinois, if they don't start him, they're not going to just automatically promise a kid playing time. You know, Jeremiah Tillman might not start his first game at Illinois. I doubt it. I'm sure he will, but I doubt that's promised to these guys. Now, I don't know. I'm not in that. I'm not a coach. I wasn't a player that was recruited, so I don't know. Other people can maybe tell me different. Maybe Derek Piper can talk to us about something like that, but I think I'm with you on this. How about called you Jeremy, Michael? It's the fact that
you even called me by my full name.
I did, Michael.
Look at that.
I think I'm with you because I'm sure from day one, John Gross, and they proved it by the way they recruited him in the sense that you are a number one target of ours. You are that guy. They wanted DeMonte. They loved that Javon Pickett started it all. They really enjoyed the fact, and you saw it with John Gross and Josh Whitman hugging out at Savoy's golf course when Jeremiah Tillman said yes. But there's that one kid that they really feel like could change the culture, as Jeremy said. I thought he said it perfect. Tillman changes the perception because it's a 5-star kid, one of the top 25 players in the country. Jordan Goodwin, who's outside of the top 50, top 75, top 50 player in the country, he would change your culture by the way he plays. He's just one of those players that just doesn't want to lose. And when he got here, he'd bring that to this Illinois team that it seems like in the last couple of years hasn't had that. Now, maybe they can get that back, and maybe that's just wrong on my end. If this is the case, I don't know that I could sit here. If this does happen this way, I am not going to sit here and say one bad word about John Gross and his coaching staff because I think since day one, Mike, they have made every effort to get Jordan Goodwin on this campus and to get him signed as an Illini.
This would be one that the cynical view of it would be, well, they lost another one.
Yeah.
I think the more realistic take would be they did everything that they possibly could.
Correct.
They had him as the number one guy.
Yep.
People got in Jordan Goodwin's ear, and Jordan Goodwin himself got in his own head and said, well, wait a second, I'm going to not commit early. Yeah. It would have been all over last fall in all likelihood if he would have committed.
No doubt.
There is one thing, though, that I will put on the coaching staff, because we can talk about Travis Ford being an also-ran coach that didn't do that much at Oklahoma State. But he made 5 out of 8 NCAA tournaments.
Right.
Illinois needs to make tournaments.
Yeah, that's
true. And Jordan Goodwin is a big-time recruit. The Jeremiah Tillman committing to Illinois is the aberration.
Yeah.
The Jalen Brunson or the Juwan Evans or now potentially the Jordan Goodwin. Man, these J names. Goodness gracious. Only one of them has worked out.
Good call.
Actually, no, you have Jalen Coleman-Lands and Javon Pickett as well.
Yeah, those are good. That's true.
You're about
just a lot of J names.
A 50-50 clip on the J names.
Where's Jeremy at?
But you need to make tournaments.
You do. You totally do.
And you cannot. The way that the season ended 2 years ago, the way that all of last season went, That's not a good look.
No.
So you are asking players to make a leap of faith that you are going to be able to turn first the program into something that's successful, and also turn them into an NBA basketball player that's going to have long-term success. Something Travis Ford himself can also sell with a guy like Marcus Smart, whose game is not altogether that different.
It's really not.
Than Jordan Goodwin.
That's a fair point.
Or Juwan Evans, and even though Oklahoma State was bad last year, Juwan Evans was unbelievable and will continue to be. So it has to be, if this ultimately shakes out like this and Jordan Goodwin elects to stay home and go to SLU, I can't imagine a bigger gut punch for John Gross and the staff.
And here's why. This isn't a Chicago kid. This is not a Chicago kid. Now, he's not a Springfield or a Peoria kid. When we talk about
or a Louisville kid, if we look back to Glenn Snyder.
But you know what I mean. Downstate kid. Those are usually the ones Illinois lands. You didn't get Sean Livingston. Well, he ended up going straight to the NBA.
Yeah.
You didn't get, who was the other kid from Peoria? You didn't get Andre Iguodala. You got
John
Rich
Shire.
McBride.
Would that count? Or he was Glenn Bard?
Well, he was
North
Glenn Bard. I think I count him as one of those, like a Chicago kid. I know that he's not from Chicago. Yeah. He's a suburb, but they're north of I-80, so you're a Chicago kid to me.
Yeah.
The gut punch for me personally would be that this is a downstate kid, and you've done everything you should to get him and everything you could to get him, including being at his championship game, being the only coach there to give him a hug after he wins a state title. John Gross did that. So again, if they lose out on this kid, and I never know, I'm going to be honest with you, Carp, I never know, like with Cliff Alexander, is that really John Gross's fault? I mean, they were down to the final three.
No, I don't think there was any more they could have done.
What else can they do except open a wallet and say, here's $500,000, which they're not going to do, we hope. So, I mean...
Well, we've had disctions about that, hypothetically.
Right.
I want to win.
But when we say...
no, you're right. You're right.
I mean, when we say, well, this is Gross's fault, or this is... Sure, it still comes down to these are the guys selling your program. These are the guys with the keys to the program. They are the CEO. John Gross is the CEO of that program. So whatever happens under him, it's his issue. Whether it's great or whether it's bad, it ultimately comes down to John Gross. But what else can you do? I mean, I've tried to make sales before in my business that I didn't make, and I did everything I could. I'm like, I don't know what else to tell you. Here's everything I can promise you. Yeah. I'm going to be a great agent for you. I'm going to do everything I can for you. If you don't want to go with me, I can't force you to do it. I'm not going to bring a gun in and force you to do this. So to me, I mean, with Jordan Goodwin, if this ends up to where he goes to SLU, maybe there's other reasons. Maybe we'll find out in the future there's other reasons. Maybe his parents can get to that game a lot easier, and they'd rather make a 20-minute drive than they would 2.5 hours each way.
There are reasons, and it's something where I'm not going to begrudge a kid for making that decision.
No.
If he doesn't know Illinois anything.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't. And he can stop contacting the coaches if he wants to. I'm not going to question the kid's character or judgment or any of that. He can do whatever he wants to do, and I'm not going.
It is frustrating.
But the frustration comes less from him, but more that you've missed out. But then it felt like you weren't going to miss out anymore.
Right.
That this was the class we were going to look back on.
Right.
It's still kind of can be. And I say that, and I can't believe that I'm kind of exercising caution when you have a 5-star kid. You have Frank Williams' son, who I hope will pan out to be a good player. Yeah. You have hopefully Trent Frazier committing even next weekend at the earliest.
That turns into a huge now.
A huge class. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know about a huge class, but he turns into a big commitment now.
Well, it's not, I don't think it's going to hurt the chances of landing Trent Frazier, a guy that loves to score.
I don't either, but I mean, that now becomes a priority recruit.
Oh, you need to.
I mean, because if all of a sudden you're with Tillman, Pickett, and DeMonte Williams, then where do you go next?
Right. I mean, fortunately, Travis Ford isn't at Georgia. So you have that going for you in the Trent Frazier sweepstakes. The Abu Kebab, kebab. This is not kebab. That's all right. That's what you cook on the grill. But all these things where you do have options.
Yeah, Mayan Kerr, et cetera.
And as another big guy in Mayan Kerr that would be able to take this class over the top. Even as constructed, if you add Trent Frazier to it, you're looking at a borderline top 10 class in all likelihood.
I agree.
That's excellent, and that is something that you can definitely build upon. And I think when you looked at 2018, here's one silver lining. Mm-hmm. I don't know where Illinois stands with Tim Finke. I have no idea.
Right.
But I have to think that Tim Finke, early on, was kind of operating under the assumption, especially after Tillman commits, oh man, Jordan Goodwin's probably going to go there too.
Yeah, where's room for me?
Where is my spot on this team?
That's a great point.
Well, perhaps now there would be a spot. Perhaps now there's more to sell a guy like Tim Finke. The thing that is frustrating, though, is it feels like right when you're on the precipice of truly turning everything around.
No doubt.
Everything around in one fell swoop.
Yep.
One little thing has to happen. Well, not little thing.
No.
And I'm not going to say one step forward, 2 steps back. But it is one step forward and one step back.
It feels like that. I agree. And if there's one positive, if this happens, And we use cautiously the word if, because this is a tweet from Frank Cusimano, who I respect in this business and is a guy that has spent a lot of years in the media business in St. Louis. And I think, Carp, you said it right. I don't think he's just going to throw something out there and damage his name.
No.
If he didn't really honestly know something that would happen. And if you're just joining us in the last couple of minutes, Frank Cusimano from KSDK in St. Louis tweeted out that he feels like SLU is going to receive some really good news soon. SLU basketball, which, when we look through it all, would say that Jordan Goodwin would verbally commit to them. But if there's one thing that's positive, now it's not positive. If there's one thing that at least you sit back and go, well, Illinois, they've got a lot of wing guys. So, I mean, this isn't a point guard, and it's not a big man.
Yeah.
Frazier would be your point guard. Tillman's your big man. DeMonte Williams would be a slash kind of point guard, two guard. So you're not, at least there, you've got some depth at wing, right? So
you do have depth at wing.
This isn't point guard or center. That said, this would still stink. Because you know the kind of stuff that Jordan Goodwin would bring to your team. And I'm not going to sugarcoat it and say, oh, well, they can move on, and it's not that big of a deal.
No,
We've
Jordan
got
Goodwins don't come around very much.
No, Jordan Goodwin would have been great for this system. I think he'd be great for any team.
And not to put too much the onus on one player, but you could say, well, what if Sergio McClain doesn't come to Illinois in an alternate universe?
Right.
You don't have that run.
No, you
definitely simply don't. I don't know what kind of.
heard Marcus Griffin was the key to that.
Well, right.
And surge at the last minute was ready to go to Indiana.
I don't know what collateral effect this will have. Jordan Goodwin not coming here means this player comes here or this player doesn't.
Right.
Maybe you will be able to find someone for that spot, for that scholarship that's going to be able to give you as much on the court and maybe just be a better fit for the roster. But the problem was that every single box on this checklist.
Yes.
Why he should come here. Why he is a fit. Check. It was down the list. It was all there,
Illinois.
and it was tailor-made, ready to go.
Yep.
And when Tillman committed, here we are smoking stogies and drinking Shiraz.
That to me ended it for me. I've always felt good about Goodwin coming here. When Tillman committed, that to me was, last straw.
Game over.
Done.
Game over.
Yep,
because
exactly.
It felt like two guys committed in one day.
Yeah.
They're
really
buddies.
Did.
They're pals.
I mean, the way Tillman even talked that day was like, it's your turn, Goodwin.
So we're going to have Frank Cusimano at 4:45. Mark Tupper, our old friend, is going to join us at 4:30 to talk a little bit of Illinois football.
We'll
have Chris
ask him about
Emma.
This too, yeah.
By 5:20, when Chris Emma joins us, I think we'll want a break from this story.
No doubt. And we'll ask Frank Cusimano about this Cardinal-Cubs series as well. It starts tonight, by the way, Cardinals and Cubs.
But coming up next, we have our old friend Derek Piper, who this will be the third time since last Friday he's joined the show.
Well, this one is more important than any of them now because I'm anxious to hear what he has to say.
And remind me, we need to ask him how the housewarming party went last weekend. We didn't ask him about it.
And again, if you're just tuning in, nothing official. Jordan Goodwin, to my knowledge, is not officially verbal to SLU, but there are indications that is going to be the case. So we'll tackle that today. If you want to join us, you can text us or call the Jupiter's The Crossing phone line or the Chief Bauer text line, 217-359-2255. Search us on Facebook and Twitter. Just search Tay and J Show. You can follow me on Twitter. It's at Lante ESPN. See you.
And I'm at Fanboy Carp. You can also download our podcast, of course, sponsored by our friends at GTPS Insurance. Our update guy today is Mr. Nathan DeSutter.
All right.
And no show tomorrow. So you get us until 6 tonight. Not an early game. And, of course, we got the Cubs and Cardinals. Cardinals feed here on ESPN 93.5 at 7:05, and the Cubs over on Sunny 95.3. But coming up next, we're going to talk to our old pal, Derek Piper, and get the lowdown on what exactly is going on with Jordan Goodwin. Sorry, Lon.
It is the Tay and J Show.
Brick's Wood-Fired Pizza in Champaign isn't your typical pizza joint. Their dough is made fresh daily, only with the best ingredients, sauce, and cheese. Stop in Thursday evenings for $5 glasses of wine, paired perfectly with roasted butternut squash pizza with a sage pesto base, goat cheese, and mozzarella drizzled with honey, and a Brick specialty, freshly made bruschetta, topped with house-made mozzarella served over focaccia toast. Bricks also has hot and made-to-order sandwiches along with freshly made salads and pastas. For dinner, make it Bricks Wood-Fired Pizza at the corner of Neal and Devonshire in Champaign.
Join Firehouse in Campustown this weekend for Tip a Firefighter. This Saturday, August 13th, starting at 4 p.m., it's the third annual Tip a Firefighter at Firehouse. Join Champaign firefighters as they guest serve food, and all tips received during the event help local firefighters, with a portion also going to local charities. Come meet Champaign's finest and get some great food and drinks at this family-friendly event. Firefighters will have helmets and bracelets for kids. There'll also be a silent auction, 50-50 raffle, and the Killer Bee Honey Band starts at 7. It's It's the third annual Tip a Firefighter at Firehouse, 708 South 6th Street in Campustown in Champaign and online at firehousebar.com.
We know how much you love your car. Protect your ride with AutoGuard from Pekin Insurance and your local independent agency. AutoGuard picks up where other policies fall short, offering trip interruption coverage, key replacement, tire protection, accidental airbag deployment coverage, and more. All for just $20 per year per vehicle. Call your local Pekin Insurance agent or visit www.pekininsurance.com to put their beyond the expected services to work for you with AutoGuard.
Game Day Spirit, the official fan store of the Fighting Illini, is celebrating this summer in style. Stop by our store at 519 East Green or 1422 South Neal in Champaign any Thursday this summer for buy one, get two free t-shirts. And check out our brand new inventory, including men's, women's, and youth clothing and novelties. Now's the time to shop all University of Illinois apparel and accessories and save big at Game Day Spirit Fan Store, the official fan store of your Fighting Illini. Can't make it in? Shop online anytime at GameDaySpirit.com. Go Illini!
This is Chuck Lee with Provident Financial Group. Are you getting the attention you deserve from your broker? When you partner with Provident, you get an advisor who stays focused on you and your family. We work for you. Contact us today to schedule a consultation. Securities advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network. Find us online at ProvidentFinancialGroupLLC.com.
Provident, partnerships built on trust.
Member FINRA, SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
You buy Community Credit Union for campus and community.
The Illini Visa Rewards Card is your community credit card.
It's my ticket for travel. My name is Mindy, and I gain points from my Illini Visa credit card. And I use the points for trips to see my grandkids in Colorado.
It's my ticket for gift cards. My name is Mark. I gain points from my Illini Visa credit card, and I use the points to buy gift cards as incentives for my employees when they achieve goals at the office.
The community has spoken, and they use the Illini Visa Rewards Card. The Illini Visa Rewards Card can be your ticket for travel, gift cards, and more. When you use your Illini Visa Rewards Card for purchases, you rack up points. Use your points to travel. Use your points for gift cards. Don't have an Illini Visa yet? Apply today at IlliniCard.org. That's IlliniCard.org.
Live, work, or study in Champaign County? Bank with the U of I Community Credit Union.
U of I Community Credit Union for campus and community.
Nobody plays more country music per hour than US 105.9, where they start every workday with 3 hours of continuous country. US 105.9 is a proud sister station to ESPN Radio 93.5.
It's time for the update. Illini basketball, it sounds like bad news. Frank Cusimano of KDSK Sports tweeted this around noon. Fans of St. Louis University, I believe, are going to get some real great news. But the best basketball player in St. Louis, Jordan Goodwin, soon. Goodwin is a four-star shooting guard from Belleville, Illinois, and a top 50 prospect in the country. He was considered almost a lock to commit to the U of I a month ago, but SLU has slowly crept its way into the conversation. Baseball, it's time for the biggest rivalry in the Midwest they have to offer besides the new rivalry between Illinois and SLU, the Cubs versus the Cardinals. The Cubs are coming in hot. They've won a season-high 9 games in a row. Have posted a 2.31 pitcher starting pitcher ERA since the All-Star break, and are 30 games over 500 through 112 games. The Cards are coming in a bit cold. They've won only 4 of 9 games against the Reds and Braves over the past week, two teams that are combined 49 games under 500 and have fallen 12 games back in the Central Division. Tonight, the matchup is Carlos Martinez versus John Lester. Lester gave up 2 runs over 7 innings in his last outing against the A's en route to his 12th win of the season. Martinez didn't do quite so hot. Gave up 6 earned runs and 2 homers to the normally offensively deficient Braves. Off the field, Matt Adams is heading to the 15-day DL with shoulder inflammation, and Randall Grichuk has been recalled from AAA. No word yet on the severity of Pedro Strop's injury. He was helped off the field last night after sliding to field a grounder, though Jesse Rogers says that an update is soon to come. The White Sox have a rubber match with the Royals tonight. It's Miguel Gonzalez versus Danny Duffy. Duffy's been great this year since becoming a starter in May. He's 8-1 with a 2.97 ERA, and the Royals are 13-3 when he toes the rubber. Other Massachusetts man, Wayne Nickerson, caught a rare blue lobster off the coast of Cape Cod.
What?
There's a 1 in 2 million chance for a lobster to be blue, and Nickerson says it's only the second time he's seen one in his 35-year lobstering career. Other boring news, the Bears play tonight, and Katie Ledecky, yawn, set another Olympic record. Whatever.
Hey, wait, stay with me. Mm-hmm. He caught a blue lobster?
Yeah, it's bright blue.
What was his name? the guy's name?
Wayne Nickerson?
Nickerson. Hardy Nickerson.
There you go.
Look, I look at things like that. That's good news for Illinois. We're going to a bowl.
Okay. Well, at least there's some good news today.
And if Illinois goes to a bowl, I'm going to write a letter to this guy, Wayne Nickerson, and tell him your Blue Lobster did it, kid. A Blue Lobster. That's unbelievable. Nathan, thank you. Good job as always on that. I love those little tidbits at the end of that.
Yeah.
I think Jeremy loves that. Because, Jeremy normally does the Warner Wrap, and one day he just kind of looked at me and he's like, I kind of like how he throws those little other updates on there. And so I think he was kind of jealous.
It keeps it fresh.
Yeah, I think he was kind of jealous. All right, it's the Tay and J Show. It's an angry Lon Tay. If I had an emoji, it'd be that really angry one.
Yes. With the devil horns or no?
Not yet.
Okay.
I'd have to make it official before I go full red devil horn emoji dude.
Okay.
But right now, well, first of all, it might be the one with the big eyes. Like when you told me this, I'm like, what? What are you talking about? All right, Lon Tay, Mike Carpenter talking emojis just to prove that I can hang with you young kids.
Well,
is it emojis or emoji?
Speaking of emojis, at Big Striz 16 on Twitter, he just posted one. He tweeted me, you, Derek, the show,
funny.
Jeremy, and it just says, I can't listen with 3 monkey emojis. It's the kind where the monkey is like clasping its ears. It can't listen to it.
See no evil, hear no evil.
I think that's it, yeah.
Speak no evil. Yeah, and then another one we got tweeted was the dog in the house that's on fire, just saying, this is fine.
This is fine.
He's just drinking his coffee,
Yeah.
like everything's going to be fine. Good stuff, man. I love our
Well,
listeners.
not good stuff. It's actually really depressing,
No,
and that's
that
why
was
we
good
have
stuff, though.
Derek Piper
Right.
to hop on and try to clarify these things. Derek Piper, of course, from IlliniInquirer.com, where you can read all the latest stuff, especially that premium membership.
Yes.
Highly recommend it, and you can follow him on Twitter as well, not Twitter 2, the
That's
sequel,
all right.
at D Piper Scout. And Derek, we saw the tweet come out from Frank Cusimano out of St. Louis today. And certainly a little bit unnerving if you're an Illinois fan with all the smoke going around St. Louis. What are some of the things, what can you personally add to that initial tweet and any follow-up that you've done?
Yeah, obviously, I can't speak from Frank's side. I know you guys are talking to him later in this show, and he has his own sources and own plugs and pretty plugged in St. Louis. From Illinois' perspective, obviously, they've been concerned over the last couple of weeks. They haven't heard directly from Jordan Goodwin. I talked to St. Louis Eagles coach Corey Fraser yesterday, who told me that Jordan hasn't talked to any coaches over the last 2 weeks. I don't know if Illinois fully buys that. They know they haven't been talked to. They're hoping that he's not talking to SLU either. Jordan himself has been really quiet, and obviously we have to hear this from the horse's mouth.
Sure.
I think this shows the confidence that SLU has right now. This shows the concern that Illinois should have. Maybe SLU's in the lead. Maybe they're close to getting it done. I talked a little bit to Jeremiah Tillman today, and you can find what he said on IlliniInquirer.com. Obviously, it's concerning. I mean, this is a guy that you put in so much time, so much effort. The sell almost seems perfect, and right now, Jordan's sitting back and he's not talking to Illinois staff, and he's thinking about, possibly going to SLU. I don't know. We'll see if he's still considering Illinois. That has yet to be seen. But like I said, until he says anything, I think we still got to wait and see what's going to happen. And there's still going to be a conversation between him and Illinois. He owes that to Illinois, and you'd expect that to get done at some point.
I agree. In fact, Carp said in the first segment he doesn't owe Illinois anything, but I do agree with you. I think he owes this coaching staff at least the chance to talk to them and
I'd agree with that.
And kind of, just check. And Derek, I think that's perfect what you said. We've got to hear this from Jordan Goodwin. I personally respect Frank Cusimano and have for years. And don't think that, he would kind of tweet something like that out if he didn't really know for a fact of something that's going to happen. But still, we could look back in a month and just say, well, remember that day when we thought Jordan Goodwin was gone? I mean, I think that's important. So I want to read you something that a texter on the Chief Bauer text line sent in, because I think it says it perfect. Didn't leave a name. It's a 630 area code that said if he selects SLU, it's a personal decision, not a basketball decision. Maybe his folks want him closer. Maybe he likes a small campus. Maybe he doesn't think he can succeed in the Big Ten. He's a tweener. I agree with that. I think there's some good things in that. And maybe, like I told Carp, maybe this is where he feels comfortable if he decides to go to SLU. We never know, right, with things like this.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I do think that there is basketball tied into this, obviously, because as I was talking with Corey Frazier, St. Louis Eagles head coach yesterday, there's different cells between Illinois and SLU, different situations, different, positives, but also challenges. When you're thinking about Illinois, obviously there's other wings in the mix. Obviously he's not going to be the sole star on the floor. He may not take as many shots as he wants. He may not get to play lead guard, which I think is maybe a factor when you're starting to think about his ability to play in the NBA. Because like you said, I mean, he's even a tweener in the Big Ten, let alone in the NBA. He's not going to play the 3 in the NBA or maybe even the 2. He's kind of got to play maybe even a combo, almost like Denzel Valentine type role. Where at SLU, he can do that. He can start as a freshman. Obviously, I think he can start as a freshman in the Big Ten as well. And when you're starting to think about that, I mean, there's the Big Ten stage, which obviously trumps the A-10 stage by a lot. But with the A-10, I think he gets the opportunity to dominate, maybe even as a freshman, get as many shots as he wants, gets to play some point, and I think Travis Ford's selling him on, well, look what I did with Marcus Smart, and I can do the same thing with you there. So I don't know. Obviously, there's personal things involved as well. But I wouldn't rule out the basketball side of this because there are different cells between the two programs.
That's fair enough. Derek Piper, IlliniInquirer.com. Follow him at DPiperScout. I had a conversation with Carp in the first segment too, or as well, about promises. And I want to ask you, and I don't know. I mean, you're not sitting there when John Gross talks to a recruit or when Tom Izzo talks to a recruit or Mike Krzyzewski talks to a recruit. I'm not limiting this to the Illini coaching staff. Are promises made? I mean, in other words, like this, do they say, Jordan, you come here, you're going to start day one, game one, freshman year. You can start all 4 years. We'll never take you out of the lineup. You can't do that, right?
Yeah, it's tough to make that promise. But promises are definitely made.
Okay.
That's just a part of recruiting because, to be fair, I mean, a lot of recruiting is telling people what they want to hear. The thing on both sides, I think that happens, and that can be dangerous, I think. I think that kind of plays to why we see so many transfers in college basketball right now because kids aren't getting what they were promised in their recruitment. They get on campus and realize, well, things that were said or sold to me, maybe, they see the reality of the situation now. So I think most coaches try to be straightforward and honest, and I know this coaching staff does the same thing. But at the same time, you want to be able to sell that. I think you can sell that to a guy like Jordan Goodwin. Obviously, I mean, DJ Williams is still going to be on the team. Kipper Nichols, I don't know if you can just sit there and say, well, Jordan, doesn't matter how well you play during the summer, you're going to start over those guys. But you want to tell him, you have all the ability in the world as a freshman to come in and start. So things like that are said for sure in the recruiting side.
Derek, and that's what's so confusing about him considering SLU with the possible idea. If this is the logic, I want to be the number one guy, I want to be the alpha dog, when my argument for Jordan would be, dude, you're going to be that here, even with this other talent surrounding you. And additionally, everything that we've read about him is that he is a supremely confident and hyper-competitive guy, and I would have to think no matter what situation he went into, he'd be confident that he would play himself into a ton of playing time, if not a starting role right off the bat.
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that. And that's the other thing with him is, you talk to him, you be around him, he lives to win, and he wants to win every single game he plays in. When you look at SLU, I mean, obviously Illinois had their problems with winning games at the level that, fans expect that the program wants, but you look at the classes they're putting together and you're hoping that that's going to change things. But with SLU, they have not won. They don't have winning pieces to put around Jordan Goodwin right now. I know he has the personality to think, well, I can be a program changer. I can be the guy that changes that all around. But in reality, you need other guys to play with you. It's not an individual sport. So when you think about him being that competitive and wanting to win and having that stage, Illinois gives him the best chance to win big. It gives him the best chance to have the Big Ten stage. And I think he still, like you said, could get that same attention, if not more, at the Big Ten, even though at SLU he may be the star instead of one of the stars at Illinois.
Man, it confounds me because I think the priority, not just the coaching staff, but even as a fan base, and I'm not going to get, people tweeting at players saying, hey, come here or do that. Yeah. That shouldn't have any impact, no, I wouldn't think. But
I don't either.
I would think that he understands the love is there. You are going to be the guy. But one question I have to ask this, Derek, and this is from a text that we had as well, and this is just getting this out of the way, probably a dumb question. Jeremiah Tillman's safely committed to Illinois, correct? This has no impact on that.
Yes, he is solid to Illinois. Made that pledge to this staff, to this program, and he's very solid on that. Even though, obviously, the early pledge was made not only because he was tired of the process, not only because he knew where he wanted to go, but also to be able to convince a guy like Jordan to come with him. If that doesn't happen, I don't think that changes things for Jeremiah. Even though obviously anything can change until he signs his name on the dotted line in November, but he's very solid to Illinois. He's very excited about what he can do for this program, and I wouldn't be worried about that right now.
Derek, John Gross said a couple of years ago, seniors die hard. So do 45-year-old overweight radio guys, right? I'm not giving up yet. I'm not giving up yet on Jordan Goodwin, but if we must take it and say, okay, let's say it happens, Goodwin to the Billikens, what's next for Illinois? Obviously, Trent Frazier's coming in. That, to me, makes that a really priority signing. Then you'd have a point guard in Frazier, a combo guard in DeMonte. I mean, really two combo guards with those two. You'd have your big man 5 guy in Tillman. You've got Javon Pickett, a 3-star guy. Where would Illinois go next?
Yeah, like you said, all the focus is going to be on Trent Frazier starting next week when he comes on campus. Next weekend, and they're trying to shut that down, and that's a big one. When you get a top 100 point guard on campus, all the time they put in with him, how excited they are about his game, they're trying to close that down. And if you say that happens, you're excited about it. You get a little bit more steam, in your sails and whatnot. But you want to find a wing that can make a big time impact. And Chris Wilkes is a guy that we've thought of as a long shot, obviously. A 5-star guy. He's coming out with his top 5 this weekend. Illinois is really hoping just to be in the top 5, just to have a chance with an official visit. They're not seen as one of the favorites right now, but if they get a visit, anything can happen. So there's him. There's Abu from the Canadian product from Prolific Prep, who's visiting in September. They like him. They like that he's tough. Obviously, he's not at the same level as Jordan Goodwin, but he's a guy that they're excited about and they'd be happy with. If they could get him. Oregon's the big player there that they have to go against. And then can't forget about No-Joe Eastern. He hasn't really made any movement recently with his recruitment. Still got to wait and see. Is he going to take visits and kind of how that recruitment takes shape over the next couple of weeks. So those are kind of the guys that you really look for. And then, again, they want to add another big guy down low with Jeremiah. So Mayan Kerr, Victor Yu, those are the guys that you're looking at.
Derek, looking ahead to 2018 and seeing if there might be any collateral effect from Jordan Goodwin electing to go elsewhere, if in fact he does. Tim Finke is a name that it seems that even though he's a local kid, there's not a ton of smoke behind that just yet. And sure, it's early in the recruitment process no matter what. But I have to think, just kind of thinking out loud, that maybe Finke might have been operating under the assumption that Jordan Goodwin was going to come here. There was going to be a log jam at the wing position, a bunch of guys that want their shots, and Finke's a great offensive player himself. Does this have any effect potentially on a Tim Finke or other 2018 kids looking at that roster and thinking, oh, wait, now I might actually have some room to do my own thing there?
I think that's a good point. I think that obviously, with Jordan Goodwin last summer calling Illinois his leader, and Illinois has been perceived to be the leader the entire way. And then after Jeremiah jumps on board, I think everyone kind of saw it, and it was obvious. It seemed like a slam dunk. So I'm sure that other recruits out there, even in the 2018 class, kind of saw that and was like, well, they're stacked on the wing there. You got JCL, you got Jordan Goodwin. There's not going to be maybe immediate playing time for me there, and Tim Finke's definitely fits into that mix. So if they don't get Jordan Goodwin, I think maybe that would open things up a little bit more in terms of immediate playing time for Tim. And I think why we haven't seen that recruitment really progress a whole lot, obviously it's still early for him. He has 2 more high school seasons. He has a whole nother summer on the AAU circuit. is because he wants to see who's going to be, players want to see where other guys go. They want to see what the situation's really going to look like for when they get there. And it's still early for him to be able to see that. So if Jordan Goodwin didn't end up at Illinois, I think that would maybe open things up. We still have to wait and see who else they get. And also, the Jordan Goodwin thing isn't done until he says it's done.
Yep.
But, I think that's a good point, that if Goodwin's not there, maybe that improves their ability to sell immediate playing time with Tim Finke.
It's funny, too, because I look at it the other way. A competitor's a competitor. They don't worry about who's here. They want to play with the best, and maybe that could hurt Illinois if Goodwin decides to verbal and go to SLU. Derek, you have been awesome this week. Derek Piper, IlliniInquirer.com. You've gone from doing our show a ton to covering football. Now we got this today. We joke, but we can't thank you enough for coming on and kind of giving us the info we need. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, guys. Love staying busy.
All right, buddy. Derek Piper does stay busy. Follow him on Twitter at DPiperScout. It is a must follow. There was one other tweet or text that came in on the Chief Bauer text line. It's from Bill and Troy, who text to us once in a while. He said, SLU went extra to get Larry Hughes. And I've joked with you about Larry Hughes, who ended up being in the NBA and was a heck of a player from St. Louis. Illinois is going to struggle recruiting the St. Louis area when they're invisible in the market. Coaches aren't doing radio in the market. Whitman hasn't prioritized getting covered in St. Louis in any sport.
Well,
I don't doubt that. That those are facts. But I think that, look, I think John Gross and this coaching staff since day one has been on Jordan Goodwin. I don't think it has anything to do with not doing a coach's show in Illinois, et cetera. No. But I understand where Bill's coming from. I understand that.
And I've spoken with Dana Howard on the show, on the Saturday show before, and actually even the day that Lovie Smith was hired, and he harps on that.
Okay. Well, then maybe it's more
than it needs to be an emphasis. But however, in this individual case, Illinois was not invisible to Jordan Goodwin.
Right. Well,
he knew who they were. They were the leader for a long time.
But that's fair. That could be fair about the St. Louis market. It'd be interesting to see.
Going forward, though, I think, we need to make an emphasis, Illinois Athletics does, to have a presence in that St. Louis area. And the one game a year bragging rights game, which has lost all of its luster.
It has a lot.
Because you had two terrible teams last year. You're going to at least have one terrible team this year in Missouri. Right. I'm hoping that's the only terrible team in that game. I think it will be. But it's a frustrating bit of news to come out. We, of course, will talk with Frank Cusimano at 4:45 from St. Louis. He was the one that tweeted out, and I'll just read this tweet again from him. Fans of SLU Billikens, I believe, are going to get some great news about the best basketball player in St. Louis, Jordan Goodwin, soon. That's Frank Cusimano, CBS Sports 920 AM, and they're west of the Mississippi.
Yeah.
KSDK from St. Louis. So we're going to be talking to him later. Mark Tupper at 4:30 and Chris Emma for a nice break at 5:20. But we do have an injury report coming up.
We do.
And we also have an update on Pedro Strop and the extent of his injury that we'll let you know when we come back.
I've got some baseball tidbits to go through when we come back, including that on Pedro Strop. We'll do it next. If you want to keep weighing in, we're having some great texts. We appreciate it. Chief Bauer text line is 359-2255. Also, a lot of Illini golfers in the John Deere Classic. Nathan has given me an update on kind of how some of those guys have done. I mean, there's a slew of them, like 5, I think.
A slew of them?
A slew.
Thanks, Lon.
Oh, no!
Jeez, come on.
No! I can't take that back either. I can't take that back.
This is what's going to happen.
There's a plethora. Can we take slew out? I'll take that completely out of my dialogue.
We also have another tweet from Frank Cusimano. We have teased about 4 things for when we come back. This tweet from Frank Cusimano regarding Jeremiah Tillman. This is from August 8th, and this just kind of reiterates what Derek had said. But we'll do that plus the Mettler Center injury report when we come back.
It is the Tay and J Show.
No matter what age, braces can give you that beautiful smile you've been hoping for. If you have crooked teeth or a misaligned bite, West Main Dental in downtown Urbana has a variety of treatments that can help straighten your teeth, including braces, Invisalign, and retainers. And right now, West Main Dental is offering $500 off orthodontic services. That's right, $500 off. Call today for a free consultation to get that beautiful smile you deserve. Mention this ad to find out how you can save $500. Some restrictions apply. See office for details. The staff at West Main Dental is well-trained, and they're dedicated in making your orthodontic treatment a memorable and enjoyable experience. Let West Main Dental give you the smile that you deserve. West Main Dental in downtown Urbana, 607-1292, and online at westmaindental.com. Do you live in Urbana? Visit the Sprint store on the corner of Philo and Florida for your new device, and they'll transfer all your precious photos, contacts, and other important data from your old one. Also, stop by and see them in North Champaign at the Center Court and Marketplace Mall. Let Sprint by Wireless Revolution set up your new phone or tablet while you take the kids to the play area or get your shopping done. If you're on North Prospect, visit the only Sprint mobile device center in town, located next to Starbucks. Let Sprint by Wireless Revolution find your perfect new phone or fix your old one. Sprint by Wireless Revolution. Local, convenient, and serving our community since 2011.
Hi, it's Corey with Max Twin City Recycling. We pride ourselves on giving the area an outlet to recycle and get paid for their unwanted metals. We're taking our community focus a step further with our Recycling for a Cause program. Each month, Max Twin City will choose a different local charity to feature in an effort to raise money for those causes. Visit maxrecycling.com for a complete list of program details.
Join Firehouse in Campustown this weekend for Tip a Firefighter. This Saturday, August 13th, starting at 4 p.m., it's the 3rd annual Tip a Firefighter at Firehouse. Join Champaign firefighters as they guest serve food, and all tips received during the event help local firefighters, with a portion also going to local charities. Come meet Champaign's finest and get some great food and drinks at this family-friendly event. Firefighters will have helmets and bracelets for kids. There'll also be a silent auction, 50-50 raffle, and the Killer Bee Honey Band starts at 7. It's the 3rd annual Tip a Firefighter at Firehouse, 708 South 6th Street in Campustown and Champaign, and online at firehousebar.com.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What'll he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Oh, doesn't this sound so inspirational?
Man, you're all surly today, aren't you?
I was surly yesterday. Had another great day of work. I'm all in a good mood today.
Yeah.
And then I walked in and you did that.
And then Frank Cusimano had to tweet something
Frank?
out, and Derek had to reiterate what Frank Cusimano had said with his own intel.
Wow.
Thanks, Derek, for being on the show 3 of the last 5 days.
Hey, we got another cheap hour text from Kurt. I live in St. Louis. There is absolutely zero coverage for the Illini here. It's sad because it's becoming more of a consistent recruiting ground.
Illinois has been relevant. And
I stand corrected.
And that's where the only thing that I would put on this coaching staff has nothing to do with the recruitment itself, but you put yourself in the possibility of having you put yourself at greater risk of recruiting failures when you don't make NCAA tournaments.
Oh, no, I agree with that. I mean, let's don't forget Jamal Walker attended SLU, so obviously he knows the St. Louis area.
I think we should just change the pitch. We are SLU North. We have all the benefits of SLU. By the way, I was at SLU.
Though, aren't they?
I was on the SLU campus for a Springsteen show back in March.
Well, that's your fault.
The weird full circle thing about this was it was the Sunday night, and Lovey was introduced the next day.
Wow.
Right. So that amazing show, cool little arena. Chaffetz Arena is a nice place, about 10,000 people.
Okay.
So you can tell it would be a cool basketball spot. However, the SLU campus, pretty nice.
Yeah.
But that area... I mean, St. Louis, if you aren't in Ballpark Village or Busch Stadium, no offense, fans of St. Louis.
West of St. Louis and around that St. Louis, that area, SLU, it's nice.
Is it?
Yeah.
Oh, well, but okay.
Around the zoo.
You see, I'm just trying to find reasons
go ahead.
To crack on St. Louis.
Be a hater.
I'm sorry.
What the heck? All right, it's time to hit the Jupiter's The Crossing phone line. It's time for the Mettler Center Physical Therapy Injury Report. Jeff Schroeder joining us today. How you doing, Jeff?
Doing well, gentlemen. How about you guys?
Well, good. Is there any kind of injury, like physical therapy you can use for the mind? Because right now we're a little bit kind of heartbroken, I guess, if you will.
I always say to all my patients, complete health and physical therapy involves the mind, body, and spirit.
Okay. Well, then we need help on that.
Perk up, Lon.
Okay, I'll perk up. Dang it. Well, more good news. Michael Waka back on the DL.
Speaking of St. Louis.
Right. Speaking of St. Louis. Good job, Jeff. Waka on the DL, shoulder inflammation. This is becoming a lingering issue for him, Jeff. That's what scares me more.
Yeah, what's really scary is that it's, when you shoulder inflammation, it's really his scapula that's given him a problem, where the rotator cuff muscles come up over the scapula and then they attach into the the upper arm there, and he had a problem with this back in 2014, and
Right.
it sounds like this is a recurring issue. And quite honestly, it's very rare to have this stress reaction slash fracture problem in the scapula. It just doesn't happen very often. There's only 4 guys in the MLB that have had issues with this, and in other sports it's rare as well. But a lot of it comes down to, like in 2014, they were looking at his mechanics and trying to see what's causing this. And so, besides the fact that it's in his shoulder, it's recurring, the fact that it's in his scapula is a little bit more concerning. Yeah.
The fact that this is also a recurring injury, too, talking about how concerning this is for Michael Wacha going forward, is that even with the slight adjustments that they may have made in the last 2 years, that it got re-aggravated like this. Right. And Jeff, you mentioned the rareness of it. I Googled scapular stress, which is something that was cited in a 2014 article by Michael Wacha, and that was one of the first things to come up with it, without even putting Michael Wacha's name in it. That just kind of, I think, alludes to how rare this is.
Yeah, it's very rare, and because of just the way the muscles are oriented, and the scapula itself is super important. There's a lot of muscles that attach and cross that area, and there's a lot of joints that connect to the shoulder blade. So they're putting enough forces, or he's putting enough forces, awkward forces, that's causing this stress to the shoulder blade, the scapula. And so there was a football player that had it, and there's different spots that you can have the aggravation. But what they did in 2014, and since then they look at his mechanics, and it's when he's bringing his arm back, that's when he's probably really stressing those rotator cuff tendons, which then adds more stress to the bone, and bone is a living tissue. So it lays down bone in response to stress, or if the muscles are getting bigger and the bone can't keep up, it can weaken the bone, and then that's where you get a reaction. So a reaction is the precursor to an actual fracture. So if it's an actual reaction, that's better than if it's a stress fracture. So he's kind of in this netherland right now, and they definitely don't want it to get worse. They dropped his arm in his cocking phase, and they did some different things to try to help decrease the stresses that could be contributing to this. But I don't know, apparently either he's gotten back to some bad habits or fatigue or something's setting in.
That's funny, Jeff. Exactly what you just said is what I told a buddy this morning.
Yeah, well, you're a smart guy.
That is unbelievable what you just ripped off there. I mean, that was so informational. I want to switch real quick if we can. Pedro Strop, meniscus tear in his left knee, no ligament damage, 4 to 6 weeks out. I know I'm throwing this on you, but you're smart enough. What is the good or bad news with regards to a meniscus tear but no ligament damage?
Well, nowadays they can go in and they clip off the meniscus that's torn, and the recovery from that type of, if they do surgery and repair it, is very quick. So 4 to 6 weeks is a really good estimate. No ligament damage. That's going to speed up the recovery time. No surgery is simple, but it is going to decrease the complexity of what has to be done if there is to be surgery. Now, depending on where the tear is and how bad the tear is, sometimes you can get by without surgery. But professional athletes these days, they're going to get it taken care of.
All right, great stuff. Jeff Schroeder, I mean that. Great stuff. Mettler Center Physical Therapy Injury Report. Check out Mettler Center for that and all sorts of other things. They do it all. Jeff, thank you so much, my friend.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Jeff Schroeder. Good stuff. And then in the midst of all of that, Mike Carpenter decides to tell me some other good
We
news.
have some Illinois football news, which we will bring to you at the top of the 4 o'clock hour. Can we tease it? Yes, the Pedro Strop.
I'm not even looking at you.
If you're a Cubs fan, you have Pedro Strop out 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
If you're an Illinois basketball fan, you have the very real possibility that Jordan Goodwin goes to SLU.
He's out for 4 years.
If you're an Illinois football fan, I have even better news for you when we come back, and that was complete sarcasm. It's not good news.
No.
Now, this is much easier to absorb than a Jordan Goodwin thing.
Right. I totally agree.
And I don't fault this kid. This is a very unique recruit, and I know Jeremy's talked very often about his wishes between academics and football, and we'll give you an update on Micah Awaradon next.
I think we need to shut the show down now.
Yeah, it's not been a good day.
For the good of Illini fans, just shut it down.
At this rate, Lovie Smith is resigning by 6 o'clock. This is the kind of show that we're running into.
I'm walking out of here right now. It's the Tay and J Show. This Mettler Fitness Tip is brought to you by the Mettler Center, located at Windsor and Duncan in Champaign.
Learn delicious ways to cook healthy foods. Gradually cut down on fat, sugar, and salt in your usual recipes, and watch how your taste buds adapt to appreciate the natural taste of foods. Use citrus juices, herbs, spices, oils, and vinegars to add amazing new zest to your food, while you reduce your reliance on fat, sugar, and salt.
If you need quick advice on a fitness topic, go to MettlerCenter.com and click on Ask an Expert.
You know, Golik, other wireless providers say they will cut your bill in half, but who knows what kind of coverage you're going to get.
When you switch to Straight Talk Wireless, you get nationwide coverage on America's largest, most dependable 4G LTE networks and still save on your wireless bill every month.
You get the unlimited plan for just $45 a month. No contracts, no credit checks, no mystery fees.
And get this, with Straight Talk's Bring Your Own Phone plan, you can keep your phone, your number, and even your network when you switch.
Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, half the cost.
Hey, Golik, my favorite way to spend time during the summer is playing golf. What's yours?
Well, Greeny, it's obviously grilling out with the family.
I know how you love it, and now you can enjoy the outdoors and have a great-looking deck as well.
Well, tell me a little more about that.
Whether you want to bring out the beauty of new wood or cover up an old deck, Cabot Stain gets the job done well.
All right, I'm sold. By the way, how do you like your steaks?
Cabot's family of deck stains are available at your neighborhood Ace. Cabot, we've got you covered.
Live from the Habib BPC studios, this is WSJK Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Live from New York, the Fox Report.
And Lisa Brady. Hillary Clinton's plan for the U.S. economy.
We will work with both parties to pass the biggest investment in new, good-paying jobs since World War II.
In a speech at a Detroit area factory, Clinton also pledging not to support any trade deal that kills jobs. She repeated the call for the rich to pay their fair share, and she says Donald Trump has no credible plans to address what working families are up against.
Just a more extreme version of the failed theory of trickle-down economics with his own addition of outlandish Trumpian ideas that even Republicans reject.
Trump says Clinton will be 4 more years of policies that are hurting the middle class.
Many workers are earning less money than they were earning in real dollars in 1970. And then you wonder why they're angry. You wonder why they really want a voice. And the voice is us.
He got a warm reception from home builders in Miami Beach and rallies later in Kissimmee. Police in Canada say a 24-year-old ISIS supporter killed in a confrontation with police was close to detonating a bomb aiming for mass casualties. U.S. investigators tipping them off about Aaron Driver's plot.
Authorities believe Driver, who was raised a Christian and converted to Islam as a teenager, was radicalized by information on the internet.
Fox's David Lee Miller. For the third time in a week, a serious amusement park accident, this time at Idlewild in Pennsylvania. A boy airlifted to a hospital after falling from a roller coaster. He was conscious. Investigation underway. New records on Wall Street. The Dow up 117 to 18,613, a new closing high, even higher during the session. The S&P also with a new record close. On the Fox Report, fair and balanced.
Control, this is QL1. Everything looks good on my end. Prepping for liftoff. Over. One more thing, QL1. What's that, Control? You've been talking a lot about Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans lately. What would you say is the best reason to use it? Well, it's completely online. It's easy to use. You can get approved in minutes. It's convenient. You can share your pay stubs and bank statements at the touch of a button so you get real numbers, not estimates. And hey, QL1, I asked for the best reason. Yeah, go ahead and pick one. Anyone. That's tough. They all sound great. I think you're finally getting it, Control.
3, 2, 1.
Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button. Get mortgage.
Rocket.
Visit for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Some of the U.S. favorites going for more gold in Rio. Fox's Chris Honig is live at the Olympics.
Lisa, the women's gymnastics finals are going on right now. The host country, Brazil, short a gymnast. Crowd favorite Jade Barbosa injuring herself early on the floor exercise, stopping mid-routine, taken off in a wheelchair. Spoiler alert, Simone Biles first and Allie Raisman third after 3 of 4 rotations. Mixed day for the U.S. in tennis. Madison Keys advancing to the women's singles semifinals. Steve Johnson through to the men's singles quarterfinals. But Johnson and Jack Sock unable to guarantee themselves a medal, losing to Romania in the men's double semifinals. Coming up tonight, 4 more medal events in the pool, including Michael Phelps and Ryan Lochte in the 200-meter individual medley. Lisa.
Thanks, Chris. One Kenyan athletic coach sent home for Rio, reportedly accused of posing as an athlete for a urine test. A deadly explosion and fire at a Maryland apartment complex overnight remains under investigation.
Folks from more than a mile away heard that blast, and neighbors and firefighters almost immediately were frantically working to rescue families that were trapped upstairs. And all of this is as the fire was quickly spreading throughout the building.
Firefighters responded. We were met with heavy fire conditions and multiple rescues to be made. They went to work, did in fact make multiple rescues, and transported 31 people to the hospital.
The explosion was so strong that it nearly leveled parts of this 4-story apartment building, and it left the rest of it on the verge of collapsing.
Fox's Garrett Tenney in Silver Spring. 2 bodies found in the ruins, several other people still unaccounted for. A 41-year-old California woman with Lou Gehrig's disease becomes one of the first to make use of a new state law allowing doctor-assisted suicide, taking a prescribed lethal dose after first holding a 2-day party for her friends and relatives to say goodbye. In New York, Lisa Brady on Fox News Radio.
Here's your ESPN Radio 3-day forecast from the National Weather Service, brought to you by Chief Bauer. If you need an AC expert, give Chief Bauer service experts a call at 866-EXPERTS or visit online at cheapbauer.com. Tonight, the low is 75 degrees.
Wow, I love nacho Doritos.
They're good.
I'm eating some right now. Mm-hmm. Those little snack-sized bags.
I like when you get to the bottom of them, they're super powdery.
Yes, yes.
It's like...
a few years ago, they went to the nacho-ier Dorito, and I didn't like it for a while. Like,
too powdery?
Yeah, like I went and started buying other chips, but then I've kind of come back.
You come back to it, yeah.
They won.
We can't mess with nacho cheesier. Tomorrow is 88 for a high with a low of 72. We got a chance of thunderstorms overnight into Saturday, which could be rainy at least through the afternoon with a high of 82, low of 67. Okay. If you want good news with the weather,
Sunday, because it's going to be, I'm going to be interviewing Illinois football guys.
Sunday looks good, 83, partly sunny. And then next week we got just kind of mid-80s, looking pretty good. Okay. Right now it is 93, feels like 111 on a really bad, crappy Tay and J Show.
The show hasn't been bad.
No, the show hasn't been bad. The news has been.
The news has been bad, and it continues to get bad. I want to tell you can win with Champaign, Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. The baseball tickets, they just keep coming at Champaign Chrysler on Moreland Boulevard. Have you stopped by to win? Well, if not, stop into Champaign Chrysler today and register to win tickets to see the Cardinals and the Mets on August 24th. Stop by and celebrate Champaign Chrysler's 3-year anniversary. Congratulations, guys. And register to win baseball tickets with Champaign Chrysler and this station, ESPN 93.5.
It is the Tay and J Show. Mike Carpenter in for Jeremy Warner with Lon Tay earlier today, probably this morning. It's funny. So I got home last night.
Right.
Living with the lady, right?
Yeah, how's that going?
It's great because even those little kind of things were like, hey, how was your day?
Have you had a little argument?
What's that?
Have you had any little arguments?
No.
Not at all?
We are super chill.
You guys are so honeymoon phase.
You see, but we've been dating since January.
Well, that's true.
I don't think that either of us are very contentious people.
No, right.
Or confrontational.
I mean, I kid. You don't have to argue.
So yeah, we have not had any arguments yet. And and we joke about sometimes when the first one will come. Well, at least we used to. A few months ago, it's like, well, when's the first argument?
Right.
When's it going to happen?
Right.
And then it hasn't yet. So
maybe
I guess
we really like each other.
It's not right. So you get home. Hey, how's your day? Good. And we were talking about the show. And me and you were talking about this yesterday, how sometimes the shorter shows, for whatever reason, can be tougher to get through.
I think mentally you're not ready for 3.
Yeah, mentally you're like, well, I'm out of here at 5, so it's going to be a breeze.
You kind of let up.
And it's a bit easier to get kind of stagnant on the air,
right,
or disinterested.
Well, and I'm proud of you today because this is the last show for you for like a while.
Yes.
Not that you do it every day, so that's a little different than Jeremy and I, but you're going on vacation.
Vacation,
the day before I go on vacation, Jeremy's like, don't even come in.
See, this is okay, though. It's sort of like a sprint to 6 o'clock, and then boom. That is when I'm mentally checked out. Okay. All I got to do is pack my bag tonight, and I'm good to go. But So this,
I was going to go Eddie Money on you there.
That's fine. 2 Tickets Paradise?
Yeah. Packing my
Pack
bag.
back and leave tonight. So she asked, how was your day? And I said, yeah, it was good. How was your day? And then we talked about, she was like, how was the show? And I said, well, it was an okay show, but I just felt out of it by like 4:30.
I couldn't tell.
Yeah.
You said that yesterday, and you said that, and I was like, I can't tell.
So then this morning happened something. I hope something happens today to kind of spur it on. Fortunately, we had guests lined up. We already had Mark Tupper lined up, so that was going to be good to talk to him. Chris Emma, he'll be here at 5:20. We have the Miller Center injury report. We have dry time at 5. Okay, cool. We got a show. We got an outline. We'll be able to get through this. It's going to be a really well put together, structured show.
I even put some stuff together on baseball today.
Yes, you did, which I think we should get to right after this. Yeah.
We can.
Let's do this segment.
No, it's up to you.
So then, I just remember saying to her yesterday, it'd be nice if something happened.
Right.
Well, something did happen.
Right. How did you find out about it?
It was probably right about 1:45, 1:50. And, of course, Frank Cusimano, who is a sports reporter out of St. Louis, he is with CBS Sports 920 AM and also KSDK. And he tweeted out, and Lon, you've known Frank Cusimano for a long time, or known of him?
I don't personally know Frank, but I know...
you followed his stuff.
Absolutely.
He tweeted this out earlier this afternoon. Fans of SLU Billikens, I believe, are going to get some great news about the best basketball player in St. Louis, Jordan Goodwin, soon. That was Frank Cusimano earlier today. Now, we also had on Derek Piper at 3:25, and he kind of gave us the lowdown of what things that he's heard, and it doesn't sound any better.
Okay.
And it's weird to be in this position when you thought that you had a player locked up, especially after Tillman committed. And I didn't want this kind of news.
I just didn't think you're going to lose to SLU.
No.
I just did not think you're going to lose to SLU. That's nothing against the actual college itself or the education you can get at SLU. But when it comes down to actual basketball on the court, Illinois is your better chance of making national headlines than SLU.
It is.
Let's be honest. Larry Hughes was the outlier there. Jordan Goodwin could maybe be that outlier. Rick Majerus did a great job at SLU. Charlie Spoonhour did a great job at SLU. But SLU plays SIU, right? And I'm a Saluki. So before any Saluki graduates start ripping, I'm a dog.
Yeah.
So, that's what SLU does. That's the teams that you're battling against. And for a guy like Jordan Goodwin to do that now in the A-10, I guess, is a little different story. They're a little bit better than what they were back in the day, but still, you're not playing Big Ten basketball against some of the best. Now, we need to caution here. This has not come from Jordan Goodwin's mouth.
No.
So this is not official that Jordan Goodwin has committed to SLU or that he is not coming to Illinois. It's not official from what we know, but it's still everything seems to be that he is going to ultimately end up with the Billikens and not the Illini.
Yeah, it's frustrating.
It is. And then UT's going into the break about Illinois football losing or not getting a commit. And who was that?
Micah Awaradon.
Okay.
He was the one that
Is he a
defensive lineman?
Yeah, I think so.
Duke, Vandy, Yale.
Okay.
He's a linebacker, excuse me.
Linebacker, okay.
And Micah Awaradon has committed to Yale.
Wow.
Over Illinois, Duke, and Vandy.
And you instantly are like, well, wow, you're going to Yale.
So we lost to Yale and probably
SLU.
or so it sounds, lost to SLU.
Not exactly the Duke, Kentucky, Alabama footballs of the world.
Here's a quick comp. When it comes to and I'll still say if because there's nothing official. If we get official visits lined up, I still feel pretty good if we get back into that game.
Okay.
Because, again, no offense to the SLU campus. It was cute. It was quaint.
Yeah, it's a private, it's a Catholic school, right?
After a while, I want to develop a swagger about the University of freaking Illinois. It's a nice place. It's one of the best places in the world as far as universities go.
It's beautiful.
So, enough of this. You're SLU. You're a little peasant university, a private institution that's good academically, but it is not on the same level as the University of Illinois.
No.
Even athletically speaking.
No.
They don't even have a football team.
No. Is this where
Enjoy your Saturdays in fall. Go to the cross-country meet, I guess.
Is that where
No
Whitman
offense cross-country
came from?
in collegiate ranks.
That's not where Whitman...
But it's not the same.
I'm with you here. Josh Whitman, did he come from SLU?
He was
at
Washington.
WashU. Okay.
Quinn Richardson.
I'm thinking actually WashU University is really nice. That's the one I'm thinking.
Yes, WashU
not
is
SLU.
And that's the nice
SLU.
western area, trust me.
Okay, SLU.
You go outside the SLU proper.
It's not that good.
No, they have like 2 sports bars. When
well, then it's done, settled.
2.
Well, then done.
We were there before the Springsteen show back in March.
I mean, are you even considering that, Jordan Goodwin?
The worst service ever. The most surly bartenders I've
Really?
ever seen in my life. And it's like, what are you surly about? It's a Sunday when no one else would have been in your podunk establishment except for Springsteen fans, and you're copping an attitude with me. Give me a Captain and Diet on the double, and you get no tip.
Oh, I love this.
Here's my comp for Jordan Goodwin, if he's not careful.
Okay.
Because it is all too easy. We remember DePaul back in the late 90s.
Yeah.
It was going to be the DePaul Renaissance.
Right.
Pat Kennedy. Pat Kennedy was going to return him to the glory days of
the Myers days.
Of the Meyer days,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Yeah, well, that didn't happen.
No.
Quentin Richardson was there for 2 years, from 98, 99 to 99, 2000. Made an NIT the first year, NCAA first round the second year, in what was then the Conference USA.
Got it.
So that is something that I could see similarly. But the thing is, DePaul had actually put together some talent along with Quentin Richardson. Now, I'm going to look up here SLU's recruiting class.
Are you automatically rooting for the Cubs tonight because of St. Louis? The Cardinals are there. I mean, you would have anyway.
I would have been anyways.
But
no,
now you really want to see the Cardinals not even score a run.
But I don't have beef. I don't have
nothing
beef
against
with
the Cardinals,
St.
but it's just St. Louis.
No, but it'd be one thing to lose to a Power 5 school.
I'm with
Let's
you
say
on
Missouri didn't suck so bad that they couldn't even sniff the jockstrap of Jordan Goodwin, but that's where they are right now.
Right.
But let's say hypothetically they weren't that bad. Mm-hmm. Let's say they were kind of like what SLU is right now as far as wins and losses.
Yeah.
And yeah, they're a rebuilding project, but they're still Mizzou basketball. They have some cachet. They have a reputation. Now, in SLU's defense, they had Rick Majerus.
Yeah.
They had a nice little run here in the last 5 years.
They really did.
But right now, it's kind of a depleted roster from what I understand. And then going forward, what is the path forward? Well, Travis Ford, interesting pick. And like I said, 5 out of 8 NCAA tournaments. That's more than John Gross can say by a considerable margin. But you also have to look at the players you would be playing with, the conference you're playing in, the amount of national coverage you're going to get on an ESPN Tuesday night game.
I mean, I think it's obvious, right? I mean, there's no comp between SLU and Illinois with regards to that. There's not. I mean, like you said, the national exposure, you're on nonstop on ESPN, Big Ten Network, which is national.
Yes.
So, yeah, no, you're right. I mean, there's not even close.
I'm trying to look up SLU's class.
Okay.
I don't even. I mean,
can I switch to baseball?
Sure. Yeah. Well, okay. Here we go. When it looks to be their class, they have four 3-star kids they're looking at, all shooting guards.
Okay.
And Jordan Goodwin. Unless I'm missing. Here we go. Let me go to commits here. Okay. 2017, no commits yet.
Well, they'd get a big one here, wouldn't they?
Yeah, but do the floodgates open then?
No, they don't. No, they don't.
I'm just saying logically it doesn't make sense. And I don't want to do the whole speculative thing well.
Yeah.
What could it be that would maybe draw someone to play for SLU?
Right.
If we take away the proximity, his parents being able to...
that could be huge.
It could be.
That could be huge. And
nice.
Let's be honest, it's a good educational school.
It is a good educational school.
Let's be
St. Louis
honest.
has quite a few of those.
Mm-hmm.
Well, at least Wash U and SLU are really good schools.
Absolutely.
I'm not going to deny that, but U of I is no slouch.
No, not at all.
You know,
not at all.
I mean, one of the best in the nation. So when I'm thinking logically, it's one of those things that I'm not even going to say, but I guarantee you, wink, wink, nudge, nudge, radio listener, what could it be?
See,
what
my mind doesn't go there.
Your mind doesn't go there?
Not at all.
Mine can't help but go there.
Okay, mine doesn't go to where you're going right now.
But at the same time, I'm not going to pretend and be sanctimonious about the fact that Illinois in the past wouldn't have played the same game.
No.
But that's something I can't help but...
Okay.
I can't get my mind out of that gutter.
Okay.
That it would maybe play a small role.
Well, and possibly. I mean, listen, but mine doesn't go there. And we'll talk with Frank Cusimano, get some of the reasons. We'll ask Frank, why would he go to SLU? Why would he go to SLU? Frank Cusimano from KSDK in St. Louis, also CBS Sports 920 AM is going to join us at 4:45. We'll ask Mark Tupper, who's going to join us about 4:25, 4:30, Decatur Herald and Review. We'll ask them the question as well.
And last thing before this baseball thing here is we got something across the wire here from ESPN and LeBron James.
Okay.
We saw the 3-year, $85 million deal for Westbrook.
Right.
LeBron James has signed a 3-year, $100 million contract with the Cavs.
Good for him.
Money well spent.
30s, what's that, 33?
33.33333.
Good for him. Good for LeBron.
It's a pretty good haul.
All right, to switch from basketball for a second, you've got Cardinals-Cubs. You'll hear those games right here on ESPN 93.5. Pre- and post-game St. Louis stations or St. Louis broadcasters on this station, our sister station, Sunny 95.3. You'll hear the Cubs broadcast as well. That gets going tonight. Carlos Martinez, 705 star. Carlos Martinez against John Lester. Tomorrow, you got Adam Wainwright against Jake Arrieta. That'll be a nice little matchup.
Yep.
Saturday, Luke Weaver against Kyle Hendricks. So Luke Weaver makes his major league debut for the Cardinals.
Ray Weaver or Luke Weaver?
Luke Weaver, though
Okay,
I'm sure Ray Weaver will be in attendance all over the place. And then on Sunday.
It is Wrigley Field.
Yes, it is. And on Sunday, which will be interesting, Mike Leake goes against John Lackey.
Whoa.
So the guy that you didn't keep in John Lackey and the guy you got to replace him in Mike Leake, they'll go against each other on Sunday.
John Lackey's going to throw a shutout. Complete game shutout, isn't
he?
he?
You know he will.
You're
Well,
right.
he's usually good against the Cardinals. Do you know the only team the Cubs have played at Wrigley Field this year but have not beaten?
Let me guess. There was a sweep. Was it the Mets?
It's the Cardinals. They played three games.
Three-game sweep. That's right.
So the Cubs have they've yet to beat the Cardinals at Wrigley this year. I'm sure that's going to happen here soon.
What if it didn't, though?
Oh, that'd be interesting.
What if it's a 4-game sweep for the Cardinals?
Wow. The Cubs come in, of course, they've won 9 in a row. They were 6 of 15 before the All-Star break, and then they've caught fire. They've won 9 in a row.
Haven't lost a series yet in the second half.
No, they haven't. Chicago has the best home record in the league at 39-17. The Cardinals have the best road record in the league, 32-21. Now, how about this? After 111 games, and this is all thank you to STL today, St. Louis Post-Dispatch. After 111 games, the Cubs are 70-41. That's their best record since 1945. Carp, what did they do in 1945?
The Cubs?
Yeah.
They made the World Series.
That's right. It's the last time they've played in a World Series. Their
Lost
run
to the
differential.
Yankees, I think.
That's right. Their run differential right now is a plus 186. The Cardinals are 4th in the league at plus 69. The Cubs, of course, lead the league. And Aroldis Chapman, by the way, this is an interesting thing, has converted 41 consecutive saves against NL Central teams. A lot of those, I guarantee you, have come against the St. Louis Cardinals. I also wanted to read something else from Will Leach, our buddy.
Mm-hmm.
Will Leach, of course, the Mattoon native. He said, this is from Sports on Earth, right now the defending champion Royals are 53-59, and the Mets are still competing for a national wildcard spot, though they are only 57-55. If their collapse ends up being complete, and the Mets fans always think that'll be complete.
Yeah, it's true.
This will be the first season since 94 that the two teams who reached the previous World Series finished under 500.
So 94, that means the 93 series. Was that Blue Jays Phillies?
That was that year. The Blue Jays went 55-60 and the Phillies 54-61.
Strike short.
Of course, that was strike short year. Isn't that funny?
Man.
So that would be interesting that the Royals and the Mets are both hovering. Well, the Royals are 6 games below, and the Mets are hovering right around the 500 mark if those two teams would actually fall behind 500 after reaching the World Series last October.
Well, and it has to be kind of quietly reassuring for the Cubs that the Mets that were the kryptonite for this Cubs team for whatever reason. Well, not for whatever reason. That pitching was phenomenal. But that lineup was absolutely clobbering the Cubs, at least last year in the NLDS, that they don't look to be as much of a threat. Now, they're still in wild card contention, but they got enough injuries. They got enough issues of their own, and it's getting very tense out in New York.
No doubt.
Now, last year, they kind of had the same thing. It was just earlier in the season.
Right.
And then they caught fire the last 2 months of the year. Now we're already, August 11th, and
exactly.
they got to get going.
Hey, and I was corrected. The Cubbies are now 71-41, so that was my fault. But it was after 111 games. That was the key. Now, I want to switch just a little bit. You know Jeff Luhnow, and then we got to catch a break.
Jeff Luhnow.
Jeff Luhnow was one of the Cardinals' scouting directors, and now he's the GM of the Astros.
Oh, okay.
And honestly, Luhnow and John Mozeliak are both given a lot of credit for what the Cardinals were able to do this last decade with a lot of these kids that came up. So they were talking about what Luhnow did. He got rid of 4 guys to get Carlos Gomez to Houston, and then they just designated him for free agency essentially yesterday. So they lost out on that. But get some of the mistakes he's had already in Houston. Mark Appel, I think that's how you said his name, drafted first overall in the 2013 draft ahead of Chris Bryant. He struggled in the minors. He dealt him last winter. Then he drafts Brady Aiken first overall in the 2014 draft ahead of Kyle Schwarber. Aiken had elbow problems. He never signed with the Astros. He also sent J.D. Martinez to the Tigers. He's gone nuts there. I mean, it's just on and on what he's done, but he was unbelievable with the St. Louis Cardinals.
All right.
All right, that's some baseball
well done,
tidbits.
I like that.
A few tidbits.
I like tidbits and buzz. Unfortunately, the tidbits and buzz we had earlier this show had more to do with Jordan Goodwin.
It's bad.
I like the baseball respite.
No doubt. Well, listen, we're going to live on the Jupiters at the Crossing phone line the rest of the hour. When we come back, we'll get a quick update. Then Mark Tupper, Decatur Herald Review, is going to join us. We're going to talk about Illinois football. We'll ask him about this news today, about the tweet involving Jordan Goodwin possibly going to SLU. And then at 4:45, Frank Cusimano from KSDK in St. Louis is going to join us to talk about that said tweet. We'll do it all next. It's the Tay and J Show.
An ESPN Radio Mike and Mike Extra Point.
It's an extraordinarily busy time in the world of sports, and yet yesterday in this building, none of that seemed to matter at all, with the extraordinarily sad news that our friend and longtime colleague John Saunders has died at the age of 61. One of the people that he worked with here for decades was our friend Robin Roberts, now the host of Good Morning America.
I've never shared this story. In 1990, little kid starts at ESPN. John had been there for a few years. ESPN got Major League Baseball, and John was going to do that and come off of NFL prime time. He came to me and he said, Robin, you should go in and ask John A. Walsh, our boss at the time. You should ask him to do prime time. I'm like, John, I've only been here a couple of months. He coached me on what to say. I went in there and I got that gig. And that was that was John. His legacy is just so far reaching and just a phenomenal human being.
Hear more from Mike and Mike tomorrow morning on ESPN Radio.
Hey guys, ready to start your semester? Thought so. But don't worry, we've got you covered at JCPenney. Hurry in and find guys Levi's 511 slim fit jeans for only $39.99. That's the lowest price you'll see all season. Or come in for JCPenney's Super Saturday sale and get $10 off when you spend $25 or more with coupon on select items. Create a look that will make you stand out the whole semester. That's getting your pennies worth. JCPenney. Valid 8/10 to 8/13. Levi's and some other exclusions apply. Check jcp.com or your newspaper for coupon and details. Season refers to the time period from 8/10 to 9/5.
QL1, you've been talking a lot about Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans lately. What would you say is the best reason to use it?
It's easy to use. You can get approved in minutes. It's convenient.
Hey, QL1, I asked for the best reason.
Oh, hold on. I wasn't finished. You can share your pay stubs and bank statements at the touch of a button so you get real numbers, not estimates. And
3, 2, 1.
Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button, get mortgage.
Rocket.
Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
With the summer's hottest days ahead, Chief Bauer Service Experts reminds you that if your AC system is more than 10 years old, it may be time for a replacement. Because if it fails, you'll get hot, and you might think about doing weird things to cool off, like building a fort inside the fridge. Instead, call Chief Bauer Service Experts and save up to $2,600 on a new Lennox home comfort system. Plus, make payments as low as $99 a month with approved credit. You'll save up to 50% on energy bills and have a written 100% satisfaction guarantee. Call 866-EXPERTS or visit chiefbauer.com.
As the leader in fire protection and security systems for industrial, commercial, and residential buildings, Matco features exceptional protection. Matco installs, maintains, and inspects fire sprinklers, alarms, CCTV, security systems, and access-controlled systems. Their vigilance is a must-have priority to protect your assets. Matco's digital monitoring and veteran personnel are your best security investment. Their 24-hour emergency service ensures that you are covered at all times. Contact Matco at matcofire.com.
Experience what makes Eastland Suites the best. Like options for families, including the biggest indoor pool in the area, arcade and Sarisa pizza pies in the lobby. Families that stay with us also love the free Wi-Fi to keep the kids entertained and the fitness center to keep us parents in shape. And Tanya, don't forget we have meeting space available for social events. Oh, and being right off the interstate. Complimentary hot breakfast each morning and...
Experience the best. Experience Eastland Suites. Book online at eastlandsuitesurbana.com.
The Snyder Company.
When you need hit music, you need Champaign-Urbana's hit music station. All the hits, Q96, where they start every workday with a Q96-minute music marathon. A proud sister station to ESPN Radio 93.5.
It's time for the update. Illini basketball. It sounds like bad news. Frank Cusimano of KSDK Sports tweeted this around noon. Fans of SLU Billikens, I believe, are going to get some great news about the best basketball player in St. Louis, Jordan Goodwin, soon. Goodwin's a four-star shooting guard from Belleville, Illinois, and a top 50 prospect in the country. He was considered almost a lock to commit to the U of I a month ago, but SLU has slowly crept its way into the conversation. Olympic spoiler alert. There's your pause. Simone Biles won the individual all-around. Allie Raisman placed second. NBA LeBron James signed a 3-year, $100 million deal with the Cavaliers.
Wow.
Baseball, it's time for the biggest rivalry in the Midwest. The Cubs and the Cardinals. The Cubs are coming in hot. They've won a season-high 9 games in a row. Have posted a 2.31 starting pitcher ERA since the All-Star break, and are 30 games over 500 through 112 games. The Cards are coming in a bit cold. They've only won 4 of 9 games against the Reds and Braves over the past week, two teams that are combined 49 games under 500. and have fallen 12 games back in the Central Division. Tonight, the matchup is Carlos Martinez versus John Lester. Lester gave up 2 runs over 7 innings in his last outing against the A's en route to his 12th win of the season. Martinez didn't do quite so hot. He gave up 6 earned runs and 2 homers with normally offensively deficient Braves. Off the field, Matt Adams is headed to the 15-day DL with shoulder inflammation, and Randall Gridrick has been recalled from AAA. Pedro Strop, he has a torn meniscus. Recovery time is normally 4 to 6 weeks, and Justin Grimm was brought up to replace him. The White Sox have a rubber match with the Royals tonight. It's Miguel Gonzalez versus Danny Duffy. Duffy's been great this year since becoming a starter in May. He's 8-1 with a 2.97 ERA, and the Royals are 13-3 when he toes the rubber. Other news, the Olympics are having a capybara problem. The largest rodent in the world is hanging around the golf course, so watch out for those big rats.
What do you call them, a
capybara?
Capybara.
They have them in the Discoble Zoo in Decatur. For you.
Oh, wow, look at that. All right, thanks, Nathan. Good stuff there, and I've got to hit a song. Wow, I was doing like 8 things at once, forgot what I was doing. I want to tell you, Thomas Peters, by the way, 4 under in Rio today on his round. I don't even know what that means because I haven't been following the Olympic golf. So I assume it's just 4 under, and whatever he posts is that's good for his country, I guess. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll go from there on that, though. All right, I want to tell you. All right, we're saying we don't have Tufts right now, so we'll go along. I'm going to do this real quick, Garb. I want to tell you about teachers returning to their classroom. Give them supplies for success. And that is, they're excited about the return for their annual back-to-school social media initiative, awarding $2,000 in support of our schools. It's this simple. If you connect with Busey on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, nominate your school August 8th through the 12th with a short description and photo directly on Busey's social media pages with hashtag supplies, 4, success. So supplies for success. Entries will be up for a vote on Facebook August 15th through the 19th. The winning school receives $1,000 for their classroom. 2 second-place winners get $500. So they're wanting you to do this August 8th through the 12th. The 12th will be the next chance with a short description and photo directly on Busey's social media pages with, again, hashtag supplies for success. Give your local teachers and students supplies for success by connecting with Busey on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram today. To learn more, visit any Busey location or call 1-800-67-BUSEY.
It is the Tay and J Show. Mike Carpenter in for Jeremy Warner with Lon Tay. Yeah. We are, I believe, not... Okay, we kind of messed this up. The game tomorrow is 1:20. But at that rate, it would be probably less than a 1-hour show.
Right. So we're not sure yet if we're going to do a show.
In all likelihood, probably no show. Okay. But we will keep you guys abreast of that information. Okay, that'll work. We have coming up Frank Cusimano at 4:45 to give us some more of the dirt on the Jordan Goodwin to slew rumors that are just taking over the Twitterverse and everything else, the message boards. But right now it's time to head to the Jupiters of the Crossing phone line with our old friend from the Decatur Herald and Review. It's Mark Tupper. Mark, have you been paying attention to this whole Jordan Goodwin fiasco that's been taking place this afternoon?
I have a little bit. I don't know. I don't know a lot about it. I mean, except for what I'm hearing and reading on social media and so forth and so on. But I suppose it could. I don't know. I know probably as much as any other person who cares enough to look at Twitter.
Right.
That's you and us too as
That's
well.
Well said, Mark.
Mark, looking back, and obviously Illinois has a rich history of disappointing recruiting failures. Well, failure is not probably the word for this.
No.
Recruiting misses, I should say.
Right.
Which one, just kind of off the top of your head, stands out as the most surprising to you? In other words, a lot of times a recruiting miss, we can kind of see it coming. Mm-hmm. But other times it has been someone that looked like they were in the bag and it just didn't come to fruition.
Well, the one that still stings because it still affects the program was the Quentin Snyder one because he had committed.
Good call.
I mean, your tendency is to say Eric Gordon because that really got people in everybody's panties in a knot. But that was a tough one. But Quentin Snyder had committed, and that was the point guard that was going to be what John Gross wanted to run his program. And then on signing day, when Lyles pulled out and created an opening for Louisville.
Yep.
He decided to stay in his hometown, and that one really hurt. It really, really hurt. In fact, John has not entirely recovered from that one since, because he hasn't been able to put a point guard in there that we've seen play in an Illini uniform.
Yeah.
So that one in particular, I think, still affects the program and his fate.
Good stuff. And, of course, Tijon Lucas coming to campus. Trent Frazier becoming soon in terms of visiting. Hopefully that will happen for Illinois. And, of course, you've got a DeMonte Williams, kind of a combo guard as well. So hopefully we're trying to correct that, but you're dead on with that. Mark Tupper, follow him on Twitter, @MarkTupper. Basketball aside now and turning to football, it's been a full week into training camp. What do you think from your perspective, Mark? I know this is hard, but you followed Beckman, you followed Cubitt when he did his, and now Lovie Smith. Any striking differences from those three coaches as they've run this training camp?
I just think there's a feeling of a more professional coaching staff with this group, of that these are people who know what they're doing, who have done it at a higher level, and who are more likely over the long haul to get some results. And I just like the way they're running camp. It's really interesting to watch Lovie because he is so reserved and, low-key. He never raises his voice. He never swears. He never shouts at anybody. He's never screaming. He's just walking around. When he talks, he's instructing players individually. He does address the team and things like that, but that is how his personality works. And I think his personality, can you coach that way? I bet there was a time in his life when he wondered, because you're around guys that are, football coaches are screamers
right.
for the most part. And, but I think he received confirmation that was okay when he went to work for Tony Dungy. And that's how Tony Dungy coached, and it worked. And he was made to see that, I don't have to do this. I don't have to go crazy and pretend I'm something or not. I watch, I talk. People will know that when I talk, I should be listened to,
sure.
And I'm going to say something of significance. I like the way he does that. The one exception on the coaching staff is the position that there's a wild man on every team's coaching staff, and it's almost always the special teams coach who runs around like a crazy person with his hair on fire.
Yep.
And that's Bob Ligashevsky on this staff, who, ironically, the other day when Jay Lehman was at training camp, Jay Lehman looked out and saw him and said, "You know what? That dude was my special teams coach with the Oakland Raiders."
Awesome.
And but everybody else, for the most part, is pretty low-key, pretty calm. But these guys know when Lovie speaks. I've had players tell me, he's really quiet. I said on a 1 to, I think Jeremy might have asked him, in fact, on a 1 to 10, how loud is Lovie? And they were like 3, 4. but then they threw in, but when he talks, man, we listen.
I bet.
It's effective.
They lend that ear a little bit closer because they want to know what he's saying, for sure. Mark Tupper, Decatur Herald Review. What's kind of a storyline that you're really anxious? I know there's the obvious, who would back up Keyshawn Vaughn, who's going to get the other guard spot. Was there a particular storyline you've kind of been following all along, or maybe a couple?
I think the backup quarterback job is really interesting. I think I've concluded who's going to back up Keyshawn Vaughn, and it's going to be two players. It's going to be Kendrick Foster and Reggie Corbin. I think they're going to be a tandem. They're very different. Kendrick is between the tackles. Reggie is more scoot outside and see if you can break off a bigger chunk. I think those guys are both going to be involved in backing up Kendrick. The backup quarterback job, I think, is unresolved. It changes. It seems to change from day to day, and that's really the storyline that I've noticed since training camp began, is that coaches talk about position battles, but these guys are really serious about it, and you got to win your position every day. You may be number one today, you may be number one tomorrow, you may be number one the next day, but if you have a bad practice and the guy has a better one, you're number two, and he's number one. And so they're not going to let anybody go out there and feel comfortable about his position, with the exception of Westlaund, and I would say Hardy Nickerson Jr. I think those guys have their jobs locked up. Maybe the offensive tackles, and the center spot there. There are not very many, Keyshawn Vaughn, but a lot of those jobs are competed for every single day, and I think that's been very interesting because they want competition and they want to try to create as much depth as they can on a roster that's still kind of thin.
Mark, I've been trying to kind of temper my own expectations for this team, and a lot of that is based on the fact that there's just not a lot of depth, and there's always attrition throughout the year.
Sure.
You go through the slog of a 9-game Big Ten schedule this year, and that's not going to help either. But let's just say, all things considered, you avoid any major injuries, that the one deep on this team, the 1.5 deep almost, pretty good, or at least, as good as last year. Well, what's best case scenario for this team if things all go according to plan and you don't really lose any of those key contributors to injury?
Wow, best case, maybe 7-5.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Maybe. But a lot of other things could happen. I'm doubtful that you can get through a season without somebody key getting hurt. I hope it's not Wes Lunt, but he has a history of injuries.
Sure.
And it's a drop-off after that. I hope it's not Keyshawn Vaughn, but I think he's going to have a pretty significant workload. And so, let's see. If they could do that, though, I suppose that's a possibility. I think I'm saying 7-5 best case. I think 5-7 is probably more likely. And then maybe if you could get to 6-6,
yeah.
With I think a tougher schedule because of the 9 non-conference, because of the 9 Big Ten games. That would be pretty significant. I'm anxious to see them get out there and go. I hope they can get to September 3rd in relatively good health. I'd like to see this team play at full strength because I think they do have some pretty good players. I think the defensive line is really good. Even though the linebackers are untested, they can run. They've got guys that can move, and so I don't know. I'm kind of anxious to see them get going.
I am too, Mark. And there's a couple of games. That North Carolina game at night, that should be fun. Hopefully sold out there at Memorial Stadium. And then that Rutgers game on the road, one of those winnable, hopefully road games both of those games could make a big impact and how you finish with regards to either 6 wins or maybe best case scenario 7. Mark Tupper, Decatur Herald Review. Follow him on Twitter at Mark Tupper. Always enjoy catching up with you, my friend. Thank you so much. Maybe I'll see you Sunday out there.
All right, I'll look forward to it. Thanks, guys.
All right, buddy.
Thanks,
Thank
Mark.
you. Mark Tupper, he is he's one of the best.
Yes, man. He is.
He is awesome is what he is.
And it's always good having him on the show. And, it's fun that this year we'll be able to have, hopefully, fingers crossed, that the way the schedule is set up, you are going to have interest at least through late October.
Right.
Because there are enough winnable games there where you should be staying afloat.
Agree.
And that is the thing with Illinois the last few years. I just wanted relevancy into November.
Yep.
That's what you want. And with this team, I do think best case scenario, I would agree with him on the 7-5 as your ceiling, even best case scenario, which would be a phenomenal first year.
Right.
I think 6-6, even with an injury or two, is still possible.
Oh, I would take it in a heartbeat.
But 5-7, I think, is the number I keep going back to, knowing that attrition happens, that there will be an injury or two, and that it is that 9-game Big Ten slog. But on the flip side of that, you got the schedule flipped around where you have the home games now against Minnesota and Purdue, which you should
exactly
win.
Right.
A road game against Rutgers, you got to get that one. And then you just got to find 3 more on that schedule. That's where North Carolina becomes important. And don't count out at Northwestern.
No.
We saw what happened 2 years ago,
Absolutely.
or even last year at Soldier Field when Illinois was in that game.
And we know Western Michigan won't be easy. Hopefully Murray State will be. But I'm like Tufts. I'm ready to get this thing going.
Yes, me too.
I'm ready to get this thing going, and Illinois is going to need a couple of surprise players to step up. Will that be a Dunlap being unbelievable at cornerback? Will that be a Trey Watson stepping up?
I love when there is a shutdown playmaking corner.
I do too.
I remember watching Vontae Davis and how much fun it was to lock in on him play to play, or a Eugene Wilson, and that's a high bar.
Big time.
We're talking NFL guys that played for 7-8 years each, and Vontae's still a very good corner. But I love when there's a good corner on the team. I love to lock in on those guys during play.
Vontae and Eugene, I think, both won Super Bowls, right? Vontae with Indy, Eugene with the
New England.
Patriots.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Well, let's see. Vontae, was he with the Colts when they won it in 2000?
Didn't he have an interception against the Bears? Or
no, that was Kelvin Hayden.
Oh, it's Kelvin Hayden. That's what I'm thinking of that. Yeah. That's right. So maybe Vontae has not, but he's certainly been a very successful cornerback.
He's on a team now that could, if Andrew Luck stays healthy and they shore up some other parts of that roster. But yeah, Illinois has a pretty good history. Every 5 years, you get a phenomenal. Well, I mean, think Terry Hawthorne.
No doubt.
Had a few, his junior, senior year was really good for Illinois. Good. So yeah, I'm excited to see Dunlap.
Had the return in that 6-6 UCLA Illinois game.
The instant classic. Crap Fight Hunger Bowl.
All right, Illinois fans, if you hadn't heard his name before today, you now know Frank Cusimano from KSDK in St. Louis. Also 920, CBS Sports 920 AM. When we return, he's the one that tweeted out, and I quote, "Fans of SLU Billikens, I believe, are going to get some great news about the best basketball player in St. Louis, Jordan Goodwin, soon." He tweeted that out. We'll ask him why he feels like that and why he tweeted that when we return. It is the Tay and J Show.
Join Firehouse in Campustown this weekend for Tip a Firefighter. This Saturday, August 13th, starting at 4 p.m., it's the 3rd annual Tip a Firefighter at Firehouse. Join Champaign firefighters as they guest serve food, and all tips received during the event help local firefighters, with a portion also going to local charities. Come meet Champaign's finest and get some great food and drinks at this family-friendly event. Firefighters will have helmets and bracelets for kids. There'll also be a silent auction, 50-50 raffle, and the Killer Bee Honey Band starts at 7. It's the 3rd annual Tip a Firefighter at Firehouse, 708 South 6th Street in Campustown and Champaign, and online at firehousebar.com.
Hey, Scott Johnson here at Champaign Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. August 25th is Champaign Chrysler's first annual Champaign County Law Enforcement Golf Outing. Range balls, prizes, raffles, lunch, and dinner provided. Golfing is a scramble format beginning at 1 o'clock. Registration beginning at 11:30. All proceeds are going to local law enforcement. For more information, call me, Scott, at 217-352-4273. That's 217-352-4273. It's the Champaign Chrysler's first annual Champaign County Law Enforcement Golf Outing. Thursday, August 25th with a 1 p.m. shotgun start. Call 217-352-4273.
Heating, cooling, or plumbing problems in your home or business? Why call and coordinate multiple contractors when you can make just one call? Matix Service has over 22 years of experience in heating, cooling, and plumbing. Matix offers high-efficiency train equipment that is reliable. And Matix provides 24/7 service calls at regular service rates. Visit mattexservice.com. It's hard to stop a train.
When you need hit music, you need Champaign-Urbana's hit music station. All the hits, Q96, where they start every workday with a Q96 Minute Music Marathon. A proud sister station to ESPN Radio 93.5.
Hey Siri, where's the best place to build a home in Central Illinois?
Think Urbana.
Think Urbana?
If you're thinking about building, you need to think Urbana.
Thinking about building a new home? Think Urbana and save up to 60% off property taxes on your new home in the first 5 years. When you build in Urbana, you'll also be paying 0 sales tax on construction materials, and it's easy to qualify. Go to thinkurbana.com for details. Think Urbana is made possible by a collaboration between our local school district, city, county, park district, CUMTD, and Cunningham Township. That's thinkurbana.com.
You already know Houlihan's Restaurant and Bar at the iHotel is a great restaurant, but don't forget about the bar. Fantastic drink specials and mouth-watering menu items from snacks to full meals, a nice selection of draft, craft, and domestic beers, and just about any cocktail you can imagine. Watch a game with multiple flat screens on all sides of the bar, or grab some tables and make it a party. Drink specials daily, plus Houlihan's is now serving a delicious hot breakfast 7 days a week. Houlihan's at the iHotel. Check them out at the corner of 1st Street and St. Mary's Road, just south of the State Farm Center.
When you're heading home, Tay and J are on your way talking sports. Weekday afternoons 3 to 6 here on ESPN Radio 93.5.
All right, it's the Tay and J Show, ESPN Radio 93.5. Lonte, Mike Carpenter.
Hello.
Filling in all week admirably. We appreciate that. Jeremy Werner, I saw, was covering Illinois football today.
He can't help himself.
I know he can. He had the baby on Sunday, Torin Werner, born on Sunday. Took a few days off. He is going to take Monday off, by the way, as well. You're going to be on vacation. Brian Moline is going to come in and do the show with me on Monday. So I look forward to sharing the mic with Brian Moline. That'll be a good time. All right, If you want to weigh in, you always can. 359-2255. Chief Bauer text line. Also, Jupiter at the Crossing phone line. Same number, 217-359-2255. It's time to go to the Jupiters at the Crossing phone line and welcome in from KSDK in St. Louis, also CBS Sports 920 AM. That's Frank Cusimano. How are you, Frank?
Lante and Mike, great to be with you. Hope you're well.
We are. I have to say, when I was fresh out of college down at SIU, I used to remember following the likes of Frank Cusimano and Malcolm Briggs and Mike Bush and Trey Wingo. And, boy, you guys had a heck of a sports crew down there, and you've just continued to carry on the tradition in St. Louis, haven't you?
Well, that's nice of you to say. They can't fire me. I know the executives, and I have pictures of them in compromising positions, so that's how I've kept this job.
I love it.
Well, Frank, let's get right to it. There was a tweet earlier today from your account. You can also follow Frank on Twitter at Frank_Cusimano. That's Cusumano. And the tweet read, fans of SLU Billikens, I believe we're going to get some great news about the best basketball player in St. Louis, Jordan Goodwin, soon. And we've had an Illini beat reporter on in the 3 o'clock hour, Derek Piper, Frank, and he kind of echoed some of your sentiments. When did you first get word that this Jordan Goodwin to SLU thing was imminent?
Well, first of all, it's trended that way for about a week. As soon as Travis Ford hired Corey Tate away from the University of Missouri, things started to shift. I thought that Illinois was probably the clubhouse leader before that hire, and then immediately after that hire, I think SLU moved a little further ahead, and I think SLU has a great chance to finish this thing off either Friday or Monday with an oral commitment. Corey has a great relationship with Jordan.
Sure.
And this is, there's some real energy in the SLU program. You've brought in a dynamic coach who's won a lot of games, and he's turned out a lot of great players over the years. And it's a good fit. It's been a long time since SLU has gotten the best player in St. Louis. You have to go back to Larry Hughes in 1997,
right.
And that you could put an asterisk by that because Larry had a brother that was ill who he needed to stay close to. But this could be a huge thing for St. Louis University.
Frank, it's interesting now. Obviously, Illinois fans, we immediately say, "Wait a minute, why SLU?" Right? I mean, look, I'm a Cardinals fan. I go to St. Louis all the time. I understand how beautiful that campus is, everything about it. But I guess the natural reaction from Illinois fans is you got a chance to play in the Big Ten. You've got a chance to join a Jeremiah Tillman, a 5-star recruit, one of these classes that could be huge. So it's understandable, I guess, from Illinois fans' side of perspective, I guess, would be, okay, why would he choose SLU over Illinois?
Well, there's no doubt about this, Lante and Mike, that if you look at, on paper, the Big Ten and the history of Illinois and what they've done as a program, they've done more than St. Louis University.
Sure.
Now, you could also argue that it's also an Illinois program that has really struggled lately,
Amen.
As opposed to a Billiken program who, for 3 straight years, won 88 games and went to 3 straight NCAA tournaments and had the privilege of having one of the great basketball minds in the history of the country here in Rick Majerus.
Yep.
Now, Jim Cruz is a fine coach, but he did not follow up recruiting. He didn't have a great assistant, Porter Mosier, by his side, picking off players from Chicago and Minnesota and all over the country. So the talent level dramatically decreased, and that's why they lost 40-plus games over the last 2 years.
Got it.
But in Ford, who has done nothing but, be a great recruiter his entire career, you have some real energy. In fact, I think that Travis worked Jordan, and with this in mind, that I coached Marcus Smart, and you remind me a lot of Marcus Smart.
Yes, he
I
does.
can make you my new Marcus Smart in St. Louis. And they are similar in a lot of ways. I think, but I guess Marcus is a little bit more highly regarded. He's a McDonald's All-American where, our guy Jordan is more of a 4-star guy.
Sure.
But I think they think he can handle the ball and be a really special player and be a 4-year player too.
And the one thing about that too is that Jordan Goodwin himself, there's been a lot of talk that he wants to get that recruiting ranking up. He has a lot of pride in his game, and that even though he probably will not be a McDonald's All-American, that he's every bit as good as some of these other players and is beating them regularly in AAU tournaments and things like that. Frank, we've had a few texts and tweets come in talking about from our St. Louis listeners that are Illinois fans saying that Illinois just doesn't have much of a presence down there anymore. Can you speak to that as far as the lack of presence that Illinois athletics currently has in the St. Louis area?
Yeah, that is an interesting point. Like, as a television sportscaster here, it's definitely Mizzou, at least in football, number one, and Illinois, 2. And then in basketball, since Mizzou has been down for a while,
right.
it's pretty close between Mizzou SLU with Illinois number 3. So, look, I think Lovie Smith on the football end is going to have a major impact here.
Sure.
Now, Barry Odom's going to recruit like heck, and he's cleaning up in East St. Louis. I think he's going to get Jeff Thomas too. But Lovie's going to have to, get back here because Illinois has not gotten good players out of here in a long time.
Fair enough. Frank Cusimano, I can't let you go without saying it's the Cardinal-Cubs rivalry heats back up in Chicago. The Cubbies winners of 9 straight. We know kind of what the Cardinals are going through. I don't want you to have to go into a huge thing here, but in your mind, the Cardinals the last decade have been unbelievable. It's been great to be a fan of the Cardinals. It felt like kind of a transition year this year. How do you see the Cardinals right now and going forward here in the next couple of years?
Well, that's a great question. As we head into this weekend where they're 8 games out, and if you look at every pitching matchup this weekend, Lester versus Martinez, Arrieta versus Wainwright, Hendricks versus Weaver, and Lackey versus Leak, with the way the four that we're going to throw out there pitch, there's an advantage for the Cubs in every matchup.
Sure.
I mean, there's a chance this thing could be 16 games by 10:30 on Sunday night.
Yeah.
It's definitely the Cubs' year, but I'm not willing to say it's a Cubs decade.
Okay.
Because, look, you're going to have some pitching issues. I'm not saying but you're from Illinois, so I'll put you in that group. I mean, John Lackey's like 97 years old, okay? Jake Arrieta is going to be a free agent after next season. Lester's old, and I still, Kyle Hendricks has been really good. I still don't think he's a star. In the meantime, Luke Weaver, who you'll see Saturday, is going to be a really good pitcher. Alex Reyes may be the best pitching prospect in the world. And then they have Lance Lynn coming back.
Yep.
The pitching is not going away. If the Cardinals can steal maybe a center fielder from Chicago in this free agency season, they'll be just fine.
I love it. I love that because there is one hole for sure on that Cardinal roster in that center field. Frank Cusimano, KSDK in St. Louis, also CBS Sports 920 AM. When do you do your radio show, Frank?
We're on from 10 to 12 every day for the last 23 years. Thanks for listening, Lante and Mike.
I love it. I love the dig.
Hey, say hi to Lovey, who's one of my all-time favorites.
I will do.
I guess you've gotten to know him. Don't you love the guy?
Oh, he's awesome. He came in here the day he was hired. He came in and did his rounds, of course, in the media. And it was weird, Frank, just having that kind of a guy come in the studio, even though, I've met a lot of athletes and done that on the professional side, whatever, still to have his presence here. He brings a presence, no doubt.
Now, he opens his practices every day to the media. Is that correct?
Every day.
Availability every day?
Every day to fans and media, Frank.
Yeah, no, we actually, for Mizzou, it's like you need a hall pass. I mean, maybe it's one day a week. It's insane that I guess everybody at SEC is like that. But, I mean, look, do they really think that by sending a reporter from St. Louis that we're immediately going to take film and then send it to Tuscaloosa so Nick Saban can beat Mizzou?
Amen.
I mean, it's crazy.
Amen. And I think Lovey, and I can't speak because Jeremy Warner, who's the other part of the Tay and J, normally he's the one that's out there every day covering that. I can't speak to say that, but I think Cubitt and Beckman even, it was a little tougher. I think Lovie Smith is just completely 100%. Here it is. Here's what you got. Come and watch us. Come and report on us. And for Illinois fans, Frank, we're excited. We're hungry to be good. So we couldn't ask for a better coach right now.
You got to ask him this question next time you interview him.
Okay.
Have you ever cursed at a player? And this is a guy who's coached for like 30 years. I think the answer is no. I don't think he's ever used a curse word in his entire life on the football field.
Amazing. What a role model for sure. Frank Cusimano, great stuff, buddy. We appreciate your time.
Lante and Mike, thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thanks,
I appreciate that. Frank Cusimano, KSDK in St. Louis, also CBS Sports 920 AM. I firmly believe he thinks my name is Lante something.
Friday or Monday?
Friday or Monday is what he said.
Wow. It's a pretty quick turnaround.
It is, but
what a weird,
look,
abrupt ending to a recruiting thing that didn't really feel like a saga. It didn't feel drawn out or dramatic. It was just going the natural course, and then just like that, Corey frickin' Tate.
I mean, that's you see that a lot, right?
Sure.
And I think it was, and I'm trying to remember back if it was Derek Piper one day, just is inauspiciously the right word to say, just out of nowhere just kind of said, well, Corey Tate did move from Because I asked him, I'm like, surely
innocuous,
innocuous,
just like an innocuous, like, oh well, this former assistant over Missouri, he's now at SLU,
right? And it was one of those because I'm like, why would SLU even be in this? I mean, I get why they're down there and they're close, but I said, why would they even be close to this? And he said, well, Corey Tate did move from Mizzou to SLU. And a lot of times that is key. A relationship like that is huge for these players.
But even when they hired Travis Ford, I said, okay, that's an interesting hire and
I'm with you.
Probably a good fit for SLU, but had no idea the ramifications.
Right.
This being the ramification, I thought, well, Matt Painter and Purdue, that might be tricky.
It is.
Michigan State, that might be tricky.
Yeah. It is funny, though, what he said about what he said about SLU basketball. Probably, if you looked back the last 5 or 6 years, better resume than Illinois.
Yeah, it was, but it's...
I know.
This is why you got to make tournaments.
You do.
And I don't know.
Although I don't even know if that would matter. I think the relationship with Corey Tate is the biggest reason that he would probably stay home and go to SLU. So it sounds like, according to Frank Cusimano, that A, he's going to St. Louis, and B, it could be done either tomorrow or Monday.
The only way that it might have mattered, had Illinois made the tournament Gross's third year,
maybe,
when they struggled mightily down the stretch, maybe you would have gotten an early commitment from Jordan last fall.
That's true.
When he was ready to go.
It's interesting stuff. There's
That's
no
rough.
doubt.
That's rough.
It is rough. Well, we'll have drive time coming up. We'll talk a little bit more about this. We'll get you ready for Cardinals and Cubs baseball tonight. You'll hear it here on ESPN 93.5. You'll also hear it on our sister station 95.3. If you're a Cubs fan, that's the broadcast for you. Chris Emma, 670 The Score. We're going to ask him about that. And we'll talk a little Bears, I think, with Chris Emma when we return. It is the Tay and J Show.
This is Eric Bolin with Provident Financial Group. What will you do during the next market correction? At Provident, we believe a sound financial plan is the surest way to avoid panic during market volatility. Contact us today to put a plan in place for you. Find us online at ProvidentFinancialGroupLLC.com. Securities and advisory services offered through Commonwealth Financial Network.
Provident, partnerships built on trust.
FINRA SIPC, a registered investment advisor.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. Finding the perfect solution for you, guiding you through the options, helping you through a claim, and adapting to your evolving needs. Since 1997, GTPS Insurance has provided coverage for your car, your home, your business, and your life. As an independent broker, GTPS Insurance Agency will shop around until they find the right coverage at the best price. Contact a GTPS Insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at gtpsinsurance.com.
Live from the Habib BPC Studios, this is WSJK Tuscola, Champaign-Urbana, your home for the St. Louis Cardinals.
I'm Kathleen Maloney. Olympic results are in for the women's all-around gymnastics finals. Fox's Chris Honing joins us live in Rio.
Kathleen, the final five go 1-2 once more. Simone Biles is your Olympic individual all-around gymnastics champion, her second gold medal in Rio after winning the team competition as well. Teammate Allie Raisman takes home the silver. The pair also finishing in the top two spots in qualifying. Those are the second and third U.S. medals here in Rio today, now up to 35 in all, 13 golds. Kayla Harrison also grabbing gold today in judo. Michael Phelps will try for career gold number 22 in the men's 200-meter individual medley tonight, one of four finals in primetime swimming. Kathleen.
Thanks, Chris. The GOP presidential nominee continues to sink in the polls. Fox's Gernal Scott has a live report.
And Kathleen, throughout the primaries and into this general election phase, Donald Trump has repeatedly made statements like this.
I've been saying I'm going to win the Hispanic vote. And the reason I'm going to is I'm going to bring jobs back.
A new Fox News Latino poll just released shows Hispanic support for the GOP nominee continuing to decline, down to 20%. It was 23% in May. Trump's unfavorability with Hispanics has risen 8 points. And if you include the Libertarian candidate Gary Johnson in the mix, Trump barely beats him in Hispanic support 17 to 16%. Kathleen.
Thanks, Gernal. The Senate's top Republican is worried Donald Trump's campaign missteps will cost the party the chamber. Mitch McConnell says the GOP's chances of keeping control of the Senate in November are, quote, very dicey. And dozens of Republicans are urging the party's chairman to stop helping Trump and instead focus on protecting Senate and House candidates. You're listening to Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Here's an idea.
Instead of waiting for your boss to give you a raise, give yourself one by refinancing your mortgage with Quicken Loans. You could add hundreds of dollars each month to your bottom line, like a boss. Call 800-QUICKEN today or visit us online at QuickenLoans.com. A Quicken Loans refinance gives you the financial power to enhance your life and pursue your passion. Our passion is client service. Here's the proof. For 6 years in a row, J.D. Power has ranked Quicken Loans highest in the nation in customer satisfaction. And for the second year in a row, they've also ranked us highest in mortgage servicing. Call 800-QUICKEN and buy in. Again, that number is 800-QUICKEN. Quicken Loans. Home buy, refi, power. Visit jdpower.com for award information. Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org, number 3030.
Florida's caseload of mosquito-spread Zika has risen to 25. It is still within that 1 square mile of Miami's Wynwood Arts District. The CDC advises pregnant women to avoid the entire neighborhood. Phase 1 of developing a vaccine for the Zika virus could be finished by the end of next year, but federal health officials say Phase 2 may be delayed.
If I don't get that extra money now, I will not be able to prepare the sites to do a Phase 2 trial.
And Dr. Anthony Fauci, director of the U.S. National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, says the Zika virus appears to be evolving.
The sexual transmission is predominantly from men to women. No sooner did we say that, there was a case report of one that looked like it was from a woman to a man.
But Zika is mostly passed from mosquito to human. 2 people died, dozens were injured, and others were unaccounted for after a massive explosion and fire at an apartment complex outside the nation's capital. Among those injured in last night's inferno in Silver Spring, Maryland, were 3 firefighters. Fire officials say the explosion's cause remains under investigation. Residents reported smelling gas before that blast. Senator Bernie Sanders apparently believes in homeownership. The self-described Democratic socialist just bought a 3rd home on the waterfront of Lake Champlain in North Hero, Vermont. Selling price? $575,000. The Sanders also own homes in Burlington and Washington, D.C. We had a rally on Wall Street today. The Dow climbing 118 points, S&P gaining 10 points, NASDAQ up 24 points, and all 3 indexes are closing in record territory. I'm Kathleen Maloney, Fox News Radio.
It's your fault. I'm just tired of it.
Denial, anger, acceptance. Anger, denial, acceptance. What's the stages of grief?
I just started yelling at Mike Carpenter for no reason as he ate his salad. I'm like, you know what?
It's not a salad.
Oh,
it's a stuffed mushroom and quinoa.
Whatever. That even makes it worse.
You're probably right.
I'm like, I didn't want to work with you from day one, and now I had to spend the last week working with you, not enjoying it, and then this happens with Jordan Goodwin. It's your fault.
I mean, I can't argue that.
I'm not happy. I just want to leave.
Cheap hour. AC experts, you probably need them, especially how hot it is outside.
Give them a call. Sound mad.
Give them a call at 866-EXPERTS or visit online at cheaphour.com. I need an angrier.com.
Stinking calm.
All right, 75 is the low tonight. Tomorrow, 88 and sunny, quite humid. Chance of thunderstorms overnight into Saturday, where there's going to be a high of 88. Excuse me, a high of 83 on Saturday. The rain dissipating as you go into Saturday evening with a low of 68. Right now, it is 90, and it feels like 103. I wasn't done with that forecast.
Well,
you know what? This is just there's too much tension in the air.
There's a lot of tension.
I got some stuffed mushroom on my side of my mouth.
I don't have enough time to eat my pineapple.
You got pineapple there?
I do down here. You want a piece later?
Nah, I'm good.
Okay.
Too sweet.
We're going to get to drive time, but then I started thinking I want to play something different because I don't want to relive the first 2 hours of this show because it's not good news.
It's not good news.
So if somebody just they just got into their car to drive home right now, and they're like, what are they talking about? What's not good news? It's about Illinois basketball.
If you got in the car and you had hopes of Illinois basketball ever returning to national prominence,
let's don't go
get back inside your office. Don't listen to the next segment because
and just work a couple more hours.
The dream is dead. The dream is dead. That's it.
Let's get to it. They're starting up their
stupid engines.
Is that a semi?
What
or
a stupid sound effect.
Motorcycle?
Or sophomore crap. Here's your ESPN.
Really loud. I don't want to hear you right now.
Drive Time, presented by Honda BMW of Champaign. Check out their wide selection of new and used vehicles at the corner of Neal and Burwash and Savoy, or check out their selection online at drivechampaign.com. Of course, Drive Time is when we recap all the terrible things that we've been talking about for the last 2 hours, beginning with...
Yeah. My mom got a new phone. She just texted me, and she got a new phone, and my 9-year-old's helping her figure everything out, and she said he's been a big help. That was more of in the future. We did not talk about that.
But at the start of the show, and for much of the 2 hours, we've...
I won't.
I'm watching you
do
try to pot up the volume there.
I won't do. Just get to it.
We just had Frank Cusimano, KSDK from St. Louis, and also CBS Sports 920 AM. He hosts the show, by the way, Lon, from 10 a.m. to noon.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I know.
Has he been doing that a long time?
He tweeted out this afternoon, fans of SLU Billikens, I believe, are going to get some great news about the best basketball player in St. Louis, Jordan Goodwin, soon. We talked with Derek Piper at 325, and he did not do anything to allay our fears or concerns.
Right.
This doesn't look good
No.
for Illinois. According to Frank Cusimano, we could be talking as early as tomorrow or Monday for an oral commitment from Jordan Goodwin to Travis Ford. Remember him?
Yes,
Travis
I do.
Ford, of course, was the guy that got Juwan Evans at Oklahoma State, promptly won 12 games the following season. Crazy to think that Illinois had a better record last year than Oklahoma State.
Right?
How's that?
Well, that's interesting. And John Gross, I guess you're going to be 0-2 against Travis Ford when it comes to recruiting if this happens. I told you, though, and this is a blow. If this happens, it's definitely a blow to this 2017 class that can still be a good class. Obviously, you have DeMonte Williams, you have Javon Pickett, you've got the 5-star kid in Jeremiah Tillman, who, I'll be honest, I've been high on Jordan Goodwin coming to Illinois this entire time, and when Jeremiah Tillman said yes, that made it even higher.
Yeah.
I thought for sure Illinois was going to get this done, and then now to hear the news that it sounds like it's more of a St. Louis lean and it's going to happen, it's tough. But I told you, Mike, if this does happen, I am not going to sit here and bash John Gross. I probably wouldn't anyway for recruits.
Right,
But
yeah.
I'm not going to bash John Gross and this coaching staff. They did everything possible on this thing. Jamal Walker is a SLU grad. How's the irony in that? I mean, they've done everything they can for Jordan Goodwin. John Gross has gone above and beyond to get this kid to come to the University of Illinois campus. It's not official. I want to wait until I hear it from Jordan Goodwin that he's going to go to SLU, but it certainly sounds like that's going to happen. And this is a blow, no doubt, for this 2017 class.
Yeah, it's a shame because when Tillman committed, I think you and me and many Illinois fans and Jeremy and Derek, guys in the know.
I think everybody felt good about what was going to happen next.
There you go. The top 7 or the top 5 comes out from Jordan Goodwin. You're looking at these schools thinking, really? Missouri, they got a nice little nod. Hey, you're my in-state school. Thanks.
Right.
Your top 7. We knew that wasn't the case.
No.
Then we heard SLU and Northwestern. We thought, oh, that's interesting. Maybe we're just kind of throwing these schools a bone. But sure enough, the acquisition of Corey Tate, the assistant coach from Missouri.
That was the big one, right?
Who had a relationship with Jordan Goodwin and now is an assistant coach under Travis Ford
You
at
know what?
SLU.
And that stuff, look, it's legal. It's above board. You can do whatever. That's the thing, though, that really just kind of gripes you. You know, because you're Travis Ford, you're building your staff, and I'm sure Corey Tate was a kid that he probably would have hired anyway, maybe as an assistant coach. But do you think there's any other reason Tate was hired on that staff except for the fact of Jordan Goodwin? Although I say that if he has other relations with St. Louis Eagles. So actually, it probably does make a lot of sense. But I think that is the biggest reason that Jordan Goodwin, if it happens, would go to St. Louis, not because of Travis Ford. It's because of Corey Tate and the relationship he has with him, and good for those guys.
It's puzzling. This is why the one thing that the coaching staff at Illinois could have done, and I don't know what effect it would have had, but let's say that they make the tournament in year 3.
Yep.
When they lost to the second half of Purdue and everything after that was just absolutely terrible. That was a collapse by a team that should have been much better than that, in all honesty. And when you don't do that, and you don't have any momentum going into what would have been the fall of 2015 and into last season, it makes it that much more difficult to get that early commitment from a guy like Jordan Goodwin, who maybe otherwise would have said, yeah, I don't want to go through this process. Illinois, you've been there from day one. I'm coming here.
Yeah, I mean, is looking back on it, Kurt, maybe we should have, the fact when Tillman committed and then Goodwin doesn't commit soon after that, maybe when you look back at it, you think, wow, that's eerie. Not eerie, but now you think, okay, maybe I should have looked into that more to say, all right, Goodwin, Tillman's here. You got your 5-star guy. Why wouldn't you commit now? Tillman even said it. It's time for you, Jay Good. It's time for you to commit and make the next one.
And we all laughed and thought,
right.
Oh, this is happening. This is great. As we're just kind of kicking back and thinking, the glory days are back. Right. Illinois basketball is returning to prominence. Now, that's not to say that they can. It does make Trent Frazier coming in next weekend all the more important. It does still mean, even after Trent Frazier, you would have 2 spot slots in this class if you wish to use both. A Mayan Kier out of Florida, get another big man, which would be great to bolster that front court. And there are wing options. The thing is that Jordan Goodwin felt like, and I don't think it's an overstatement, he felt like the potential program changer. Yeah. What you're going to see in the stage of anger, denial, acceptance, or whichever order you want to put the grief stages in.
I'm in acceptance now.
Really?
Yeah.
I suppose I am, but it's...
just today.
My acceptance is laced with surliness and just snarkiness, which I want to try to avoid.
Okay.
Because I think you're going to see people go along the argument of, well, we wouldn't want a guy like that at Illinois anyways.
He's only 6'3".
Give me a break.
Yeah, right. No,
give me a break. We wanted him, and this isn't about, his character. I'm not going to question an 18-year-old's character for making a decision based on a school, but I can still say unequivocally it sucks.
Yeah.
Now, the good thing is, again, get Frazier in next week, get that commitment. You're still looking at a very good 2017
class. That becomes
class.
almost a must to me.
I think it does, and if you don't lock it down that weekend.
Man. Can you, if he ends up going to Georgia?
You know what makes it frustrating, too? The Travis Ford element. Because Juwan Evans, whatever. They were in Oklahoma State. He was an out-of-state kid. Okay.
Well, Ford won that because that kid, Juwan Evans, was closer to him.
Sure.
He's going to win this one if he does because he's closer to him.
And here, let's just be honest.
If he gets Finky, I'm done.
Is Travis Ford actually going to build anything at SLU?
I doubt it.
Wouldn't he have built something at Oklahoma State?
I don't know, though. Rick Majerus built something at SLU.
He did, but it evaporated pretty quickly.
You can win at a high level in the A-10. You can win in that division.
You can, but you can also win at a high level in the Big 12, and Travis Ford didn't do it. It will be interesting to see how that translates to the A-10, which has some quality teams and usually gets about 3 teams in the tournament every year. So nothing to scoff at, but it's going to be tough sledding the first couple years for Jordan Goodwin if, in fact, he does go there. When, meanwhile, this idea that he wouldn't have been alpha dog for Illinois,
right?
Yeah, you got Jalen Coleman-Lands. I don't know if Jalen Coleman-Lands is going to be the give me the ball, I'm going to do this. But you know what? Now I'd love to see him become that.
Yeah.
You still get 3 more years of that kid.
Absolutely.
You still got a lot of talent coming in. You hope that a guy like a DJ Williams, you hope an Aaron Jordan actually becomes a productive player for you as time goes on.
If you get Frazier and then you can add another solid recruit, you're still going to have a really good recruiting class.
Oh, that's a net positive big time.
Big time.
That's a great class.
What stinks is if you add Goodwin to that class, not only everything we know and talk about with regards to his tenacity, his wanting to win, his willing you to win kind of culture that Illinois has needed. Besides that, that would have been a top 5 class, and that would have been something we could have looked back on and said, wow, that could have been the turning point.
Yeah.
Now, this still could be a really good class. This next year could still be a good year. Illinois could still be trending up now. There's no doubt. And when you get a 5-star kid like Tillman, I think that's certainly the case. But it could have been better. Even though it's not official from Jordan Goodwin, we feel like it's going to become official here in the next 1 to 4 days.
You're an insurance guy.
Mm-hmm.
I consider these great recruits almost like insurance policies.
Yeah.
You're almost kind of making an investment for the future, and it's something that makes you feel warm and fuzzy. You know you got it in your back pocket.
If you need it, you have it.
Yes, you don't have Jordan Goodwin, or in all likelihood, and we'll let this play out. But again, it doesn't sound good, and these are from sources that would know what they're talking about, and it stinks.
I want to ask you, because I know Frank Cusimano had that tweet that said, quote, fans of SLU Billikens, I believe, are going to get some great news about the best basketball player in St. Louis, Jordan Goodwin, soon. That was from Frank Cusimano, who joined us today at 4:45. He also tweeted out something that Illinois fans would like.
On August 8th, which said that Jeremiah Tillman cannot be more emphatic about his commitment to Illinois.
So that's good, because we just had somebody text us on the Cheap Hour text line. Is the Tillman commit, is that still, firm? It sounds like it is.
Derek said the same thing.
Okay.
So no worries on Jeremiah Tillman until he himself would give you reason to worry. And at this point, he's only reaffirmed that, yes, Illinois is a spot. And, hey, you still got room for some other talented pieces in this class. So fingers crossed.
Illinois also lost another kid. We talked about that earlier. And they lost a football. This is a football recruit. Lovie Smith could not beat out Yale.
And this is a
way
bit
to go, Lovie. No, I'm kidding. That's a total
joke. But to that argument, you want to start seeing commitments.
Sure.
And this was a unique case. This is a guy, Micah Awardon, who wanted to go.
Awardrian. It's a hard one.
Super smart kid.
Yes.
He's smart enough to get accepted into Duke, Vandy, Yale, obviously Illinois, which Illinois is a great school, but Yale is Yale.
Yep.
And academics are more important to him and more important than, I guess he could be a Yale football player and still make the NFL. They'll take you if you're talented enough, but
sure.
He's a 3-star kid. He's a linebacker. You still got other defensive pieces out there like an Oladipo that you can go and get and not really be too worried about missing out on this guy. But it was funny how the timing of it came out within an hour of us finding out the story thing, and we're thinking, okay, SLU and Yale. I'd rather it be North Carolina and Kansas.
Amen. Well, maybe. I don't know. I don't
know. That seems easier to swallow.
I agree.
It is Drive Time presented by Honda BMW of Champaign. Visit them at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy, or check out their selection online at drivechampaign.com.
Wait, I wasn't done with that yet.
Oh, I'm sorry.
That's all right. I was going to tell you that Pedro Strop, we found out.
Oh, yeah.
We talked a little bit about. He's got a meniscus tear in his left knee. No ligament damage, so 4 to 6 weeks is what they're talking about. They brought Grimm up. The Cubbies did for this 4-game set against the Cardinals. That starts tonight, by the way. Cardinals and Cubs, you'll hear it all on our sister station, 95.3, Sunny 95.3. You'll hear the Cubs version of that broadcast. And then right here on ESPN 93.5, you will hear the St. Louis Cardinals pregame, postgame. Tonight, 7:05, Carlos Martinez against John Lester, the starter on Friday. How about this game? Waino against Arrieta.
There you go.
Tomorrow. Saturday, Luke Weaver, the newcomer for the Cardinals, will make his Major League debut against Kyle Hendricks. And then Mike Leake against John Lackey on Sunday. That is Drive Time. Hey, I want to tell you, ESPN 93.5 inviting you to our 2016 Active Aging Expo. It happens Monday, September 19th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. at the iHotel and Conference Center, presented by Audible. Are you active and aging? Well, then this expo is for you. Get more details today at ESPNCU.com. When we return, Chris Emma, 670 The Score. We'll talk to him about the Red Hot Cubbies looking for their 10th win in a row tonight. Or will those Cardinals play spoiler? There's been one team the Cubs have not beaten at Wrigley this year. That's the Cardinals. Well, there might be more than one team they haven't beaten because they haven't played everybody at Wrigley, but the one team that they've played at Wrigley and haven't won.
This is true.
Did that make any sense?
No, it did make sense.
Okay, in other words, they actually played the team, but they haven't beaten them. That's the Cardinals. We'll talk to him, Chris Emma, about that. Also, maybe ask him some Bears news as well. If you want to weigh in, 359-2255. That's 359-2255. It is the Tay and J Show.
Alex Rodriguez will start his final 2 games for the Yankees, Thursday night against the Red Sox at Fenway and Friday at Yankee Stadium against the Rays. He'll leave behind a complicated legacy in New York, one that's made it difficult for Joe Girardi to correctly manage his final days. On Sunday, Girardi announced he'd find a way to play Rodriguez in all 3 games in Boston this week. Instead, he benched him Tuesday and Wednesday, bringing him in to pinch hit Wednesday night. When confronted on the flip-flop, Girardi accused reporters of, quote, creating a story, and said, quote, my job description does not entail a farewell tour. Of course, you need only look back a few years to see Girardi embracing the farewell tour of Derek Jeter, batting the legend in the number 2 spot all year despite his slumping numbers. A-Rod didn't need a whole year, just a handful of games, a couple more cracks to get to 700. He's 4 home runs shy. Nothing other than spite or pettiness could inspire Girardi's decision not to start him these few remaining days. A-Rod's .204 average isn't good, but 2 guys in the starting lineup, Mark Teixeira and Aaron Hicks, are both hitting below 200. It's clearly not just about numbers and wins for Girardi. But whatever his reasoning, Girardi made things a lot harder than they had to be. More on that after this.
AutoZone presents Tune-Ups. Restoring lost engine performance and fuel economy isn't rocket science. Thanks to tune-up supplies from AutoZone, it's just common knowledge. Right now, get a $10 AutoZone gift card by mail when you buy 4 or more of any brand of Platinum, Double Platinum, or Iridium spark plugs. So visit your local AutoZone. With over 5,000 locations, the right supplies and good advice are just around the corner, so you can fix your car with confidence. Hoods up, America.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions and details in store.
Hey guys, ready to start your semester? Thought so. But don't worry, we've got you covered at JCPenney. Hurry in and find guys Levi's 511 slim fit jeans for only $39.99. That's the lowest price you'll see all season. Or come in for JCPenney's Super Saturday sale and get $10 off when you spend $25 or more with coupon on select items. Create a look that will make you stand out the whole semester. That's getting your pennies worth. JCPenney. Valid 8/10 to 8/13. Levi's and some other exclusions apply. Check jcp.com or your newspaper for coupon and details. Season refers to the time period from 8/10 to 9/5.
Instead of honoring his promise, Girardi backtracked and then blamed the media for a situation he put himself in. He should have stuck with his gut. The emotions that inspired him to make that promise Sunday should have continued to lead him. Instead, in a strange capper to a strange career, A-Rod has now become a sympathetic figure, a guy done wrong by his team and his manager. Rodriguez is a big piece of the Yankees story the last dozen years, and he'll go down as one of the game's best players. For all his missteps and mistakes, he deserved better from Girardi on the way out. With the ESPN Radio Sports Beat, I'm Sarah Spain.
Control, this is QL1. Everything looks good on my end. Prepping for liftoff. Over. One more thing, QL1. What's that, Control? You've been talking a lot about Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans lately. What would you say is the best reason to use it? Well, it's completely online. It's easy to use. You can get approved in minutes. It's convenient. You can share your pay stubs and bank statements at the touch of a button, so you get real numbers, not estimates. And hey, QL1, I asked for the best reason. Yeah, go ahead and pick one. Anyone. That's tough. They all sound great. I think you're finally getting it, Control. 3, 2, 1. Rocket Mortgage at QuickenLoans.com. Push button. Get mortgage.
Rocket.
Visit for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender. Licensed in all 50 states. NMLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Check out the new BMW of Champaign. It's not like the old Twin City. They have new on-site local ownership since 2013, along with a new state-of-the-art facility. With a Customer First Service Award winner for 2015, BMW of Champaign does business your way. Yes, they have tons of cars. Yes, they'll get you what you want. Yes, they discount, deal, and even pick up and deliver. So stop in, ask for Ben, and give BMW of Champaign a look. BMW of Champaign at the corner of Neal and Burwash in Savoy.
If you are behind on your bills, then this message is for you. How would you like to have a large portion of your credit card debt or medical bills forgiven? National Credit Card Relief would like to give you free information on a proven debt forgiveness program. It's not bankruptcy. It's not consolidation. This special program actually wipes clean the portion of your debt that is forgiven. Call for your free forgiveness information now. 800-291-6670. That's 800-291-6670. Don't wait. Call 800-291-6670. Not available in North Dakota.
This Mettler Fitness Tip is brought to you by the Mettler Center, located at Windsor and Duncan in Champaign.
Learn delicious ways to cook healthy foods. Gradually cut down on fat, sugar, and salt in your usual recipes, and watch how your taste buds adapt to appreciate the natural taste of foods. Use citrus juices, herbs, spices, oils, and vinegars to add amazing new zest to your food, while you reduce your reliance on fat, sugar, and salt.
If you need quick advice on a fitness topic, go to MettlerCenter.com and click on Ask an Expert. Your local independent Pekin insurance agent is part of your hometown. They're your friends and neighbors. They know you and your community. So when it comes to the right insurance coverage at the right price, you'll want to talk with the folks you can trust. Ask your local Pekin insurance agent about the affordable insurance coverage for your car, your home, your business, and your family. They'll help you protect what matters most. And you can always count on beyond the expected service and coverage from Pekin Insurance. To find an agent near you, visit www.pekininsurance.com. All right, it's the Tay and J Show. ESPN Radio 93.5. Have you ever heard me laugh so loud as I just did?
No, Andrew sent he didn't mean to, but there was a bad word in his text. I don't know if it was a voice-activated text or what, but he did use a four-letter word. He said, oh, my God, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
New phone.
I've got to read it. Can I read it just real quick, just one part, and then we'll get to Chris immediately. Chris, I'm sorry. So my mom just got a new iPhone, which she's always had a flip phone her entire life. So this is all brand new territory for Mom.
Yeah.
So it says, "Hi, Dad, it's Andrew. Grandma got the new iPhone." Then it's the
S word,
4-letter S word. Bye, love you. Oh my gosh, look what it just said. It's still recording. Okay, and then Mom took over and said, okay, he didn't mean to say that. It's a new phone.
I guess iPhone has a voice-activated texting?
I don't know, but my son just cursed for the first time at age 9.
Man.
Wow, Andrew.
Well, I don't know if that's the first time he cursed.
Well, should I maybe...
I wonder where he heard those words from, Lon. Do you have any idea?
Let's get right to Chris Emma.
Okay.
670 The Score. Chris, how are you, buddy?
How do I top that? My goodness.
My 9-year-old is sending me curse messages. This is scary.
Oh, he's grounded.
Right. You know what? You're grounded until school starts, young man. That's exactly what I'm going to tell him. Oh, Chris Emma, 670 The Score. Follow him on Twitter at CEmma670. Always enjoy having Chris join us here on the Jupiter's The Crossing phone line. Lonte and Mike Carpenter. I assume, Chris, you heard the news. Jeremy had his baby.
I did. I saw that pop up on Twitter. Good for our guy. He's a new dad now. That's the number one, right?
Yes, that is number one. Torin.
Wow, that poor kid is probably getting pampered up to Wazoo right now. It'll be like that till he's about 5 or so. I know Jeremy a little bit. I could see him being one of those dads who's like, it's the first one. You don't let him obviously it takes a few years, but
yeah.
He's going to be the one who's got the, he's not leaving the house at any time before 10 once he gets into high school. He's got the rules. I mean, this is the baby. And I was the firstborn too, so I can relate.
There you go. And see, when you have a second one, they can cuss at you on the phone. You don't even care. I mean, that's how bad.
Exactly, yes.
Well, Chris, we got Cardinals and Cubs. We're going to talk to you a little bit about that and also the Bears today. 9 in a row for the Cubbies. What is going right now for them? Everything?
Everything. Yeah, I mean, you look at this roster and what Joe Madden has to work with. I mean, it's he's got the perfect team, essentially. The biggest concern was the bullpen. Now you had Aroldis Chapman and Joe Smith and, all these pieces to the puzzle. I mean, this team is built to win the World Series, and I don't really see any weak spots to the point where you're sending Tommy La Stella, sending him away because as good as he played this year, you just don't have a roster spot. I mean, this team is just so loaded right now, and looks really poised to win the World Series. I mean, this is what we've been saying all year long. You've been waiting for those last few moves, and they came. COFC's done a great job building this thing up, not only obviously the years leading up to this, but this season and finding those extra pieces, whatever you need. Now you look at this team, and all you're doing is just waiting for October.
Yeah.
I mean, if this is a car trip, if this is a big vacation trip, then you're at that last stretch where you're saying, are we there yet? Are we there yet?
Great call.
I mean, you're finally close, but you're holding out for no injuries. I mean, it's like the kid's car trip. I mean, you're hoping the little sister doesn't want to go to the bathroom, or you're hoping that somebody doesn't get car sick. This is all you have because the destination's ahead, and it's almost here, a couple months away.
Chris, what's been more impressive to you? How the starting pitching has sort of reverted back to what they were doing in April and May when they were setting, record numbers as far as the starting rotation with ERA and all of that. And
right.
then, or is it the production of the offense? Which one at this point in the season with about 7 weeks to go is more impressive to you?
To me, it's definitely the rotation because you saw the hot start early on, and these guys were putting up good numbers right away. And then you have that lull to kind of remind everybody, it's a long season. The arms get tired, and things aren't going to go quite right at all times. But now you're seeing this group, this 1 through 5, healthy and disinformed. The arms are rested. Everybody's feeling good right now. You can count on a chance to win a game from all these guys, of course. But more than that, I mean, you can count on pretty much all 5 of these guys to give you a great outing now. Kyle Hendricks is the quote-unquote number 5. And he's a Cy Young candidate right now, guys. He's got the 3rd best ERA in baseball.
Right.
And that kind of puts in perspective the Cubs' situation here. Jason Hamill, the quote-unquote 4, with another excellent performance last night. I believe his ERA is just over 1 right now in the second half of the season. For last year and the year before that, he regressed in the second half. And then, of course, you feel good about your 1 through 3 of Arrieta, Lester, and Lackey. Really, the Cubs' only problem right now is looking at the postseason. Who do you pitch who do you pitch? What's your rotation? I mean, Arrieta, Lester, you go Hendricks over Lackey, the clutch postseason performer. I mean, these are kind of the Cubs' problems right now, is finding out here. And while the Cardinals deal with injuries and they're now 12 games back, I mean, the Cubs are off in their own world right now, just waiting for October.
So, Chris, how would you structure that rotation for October?
Yeah, it's an excellent question. I thought about it a lot. And Joe Maddon was asked that recently. His answer was an honest one, saying these things tend to work themselves out. Because a year ago we were saying you start Jake Arrieta or John Lester in that wild card game, and then Arrieta goes on a surge. Now, that's the better way to resolve this. The worst way you could possibly see it resolved is if somebody does have an injury or somebody starts slumping. Kyle Hendricks doesn't look like he's going to be slumping anytime soon, so I'm taking that guy to pitch a big game if I can. I also like John Lackey just with his postseason background. How can you go against that guy on the mound?
Right.
So I'd probably from Arrieta, Lester, Hendricks, and Lackey as your 1 through 4. I'd hate to not have Jason Hamill in the mix, but look at these other 4 guys. I mean, that's just kind of how the Cubs have been so far with this rotation.
Hashtag Cubs problems is what we got there. Chris Emma, 670 The Score. Follow him on Twitter at CEmma670. A couple quick questions. One, not so good on Pedro Strop, but the other, I'll ask first. Chris Bryant, 28 home runs. Is he an MVP? I mean, is he your MVP candidate?
Yeah, the only question is, could he beat out Anthony Rizzo?
Right.
I mean, those guys are kind of neck and neck right now for the MVP race. It's a tough little debate. You can't. It's tough to go between the two because they've both been excellent, and obviously they help each other out. I think you can see those guys who's neck and neck 1 and 2 for the MVP battle. So, absolutely, Chris Bryant's an MVP candidate. Anthony Rizzo is too. And you wonder if those two are going to take votes away from each other. How that could all play out. Obviously, you got 2 long months ahead of the season before these things are decided, and then you get into the postseason. They've certainly both played like MVPs, though.
Sure, no doubt about it. Okay, Pedro Strop, the meniscus tear in his left knee, no ligament damage. That's good news. So Grimm comes up. Strop will miss 4 to 6 weeks if everything goes right. What does that do to the bullpen? I guess you're really happy now to have Aroldis Chapman.
Absolutely. That makes the move to, even if he meant giving up Gleyber Torres and 3 other players for a rental, that rental is very valuable now because Hector Rondon's still dealing with some injury issues right now as well. You're lucky to have Chapman if you're the Cubs because this bullpen is starting to get a little bit shorthanded. Rondon should be back soon. It sounds like he's just kind of a day-to-day thing. But now 4 to 6 weeks for Pedro Strop, so that's one of your big back-end arms. Joe Smith is also looking valuable, the pickup from the Angels. As that was a quick addition. They didn't really have to give up much to get him, so you're happy to have that guy. Mike Montgomery, obviously the other addition, the guy who came in from Seattle, somebody who could help you out down the stretch run. So the Cubs made the bullpen the priority during the trade deadline, and now it looks like that's going to be a big thing for them. You expect Strop back in that 4 to 6 week time frame. Hope for no hiccups or anything like that. MRI came back clean, so that's good. Obviously you want him for that stretch run in September leading into October. And heck, the Cubs magic number right now is 38, I believe I saw. So you get that out of the way, get into the postseason, then you can worry about rest, getting everybody right, and getting ready for October.
Chris Emma from 670 The Score on Twitter at CEmma670. That's right.
It.
Need to get that Twitter handle right. And you were actually tonight at Soldier Field, Bears-Broncos for the first preseason game. And I have to be honest, Chris, as a Bears fan, I was feeling pretty good after the draft, but then with certain little side stories going on in training camp, just a rash of fights between players, which just got pretty annoying to the point where Jay Cutler had to call it out. And then also the injury to Grisou at center, and then Pernell McPhee on the physically unable to perform. I don't know. I'm having a hard time conjuring up enthusiasm for this team. Do I need to maybe take a rosier view of things?
I guess the silver lining is everything aside from Hronis Grasu is the minor injury. Losing the starting center, of course, hurts not only for this specific team, but for the future of a promising player, because this is to be a big developmental year for Hronis Grasu. And now you're stepping in Ted Larson, a good veteran, a steady player who's on a one-year deal. But the reminder within that came out from the fact that the Bears right now are lacking organizational depth. And that's just a natural occurrence that's going to happen after several years of bad drafting and poor decision-making. I mean, Ryan Pace came in with an unenviable task of cleaning up the Phil Emery mess. Now you're looking at a roster here that's been rebuilt. You get some good players at the top, and you like what you have in the depth chart, but this team's a few injuries away from some issues. I predicted anywhere from 8-8 to 9-7, but you take Alshon Jeffrey out for several games. If Zach Miller's not healthy, if there's offensive line maneuvering where you're putting in just some guy as opposed to somebody you can count on, I see this a little bit below 8-8, maybe a 7-9 or another 6-10. I mean, this team can't afford a rash of injuries. Now, right now, it's just training camp bumps and bruises. It's nothing they could be concerned about, aside from Heraldus, of course. So keep your fingers crossed right now if you're a Bears fan. I do think this team has what it takes to contend, but obviously the Bears are not in a position like other NFC North rivals or teams around the NFC where they can afford a few key players out. I mean, this team is lacking to depth all around.
Chris, how refreshing is it to go into a training camp with Jay Cutler not being the main story?
Wow.
It's amazing. It's weird. For starters, I mean, that first day, everybody meets, all the players meet with the media, and every year for so many years, it was the Cutler hot takes, and, he's a dad now, so he's going to be more mature. He's a better leader. Is this the year he breaks out? How will this offensive coordinator work? Now you have nothing but stability around the guy. I mean, he's the leader, and he's the kind of stabilizing force for this team. But you're right; he's gone under the radar during this offseason just because there's been so many happenings around Cutler. When I talk about the injuries too, I mean that's one player you simply cannot afford to lose because you saw Cutler make a team better last year that had a lot of injuries all around him. I mean, he never had that starting offense in place last season, and he still made the Bears competitive. So, I mean, Cutler, obviously, he's been a non-story in a lot of ways entering training camp now leading into the preseason because you can count on the guy.
Yeah.
He's never going to be an elite quarterback to go with the great definition, but you have a very good to very good quarterback who can win you some games alone. And a lot of NFL teams don't have that kind of guy. It would kill to have a Jay Cutler because they're starting a replacement-level quarterback and mired in mediocrity, to borrow a term from Rick Hahn. So, yeah, the Bears are lucky to have Jay Cutler, and they have a good offense around him. If that offense stays healthy, then they potentially could put up some numbers. But if there are injuries around him or if there's an injury to him, then you're talking about a problem.
Chris Emma, you should cover sports. You seem to be pretty good at it, my friend.
I'll consider.
Exactly. 670 The Score. Also follow him on Twitter at CMA670. It's 670thescore.com, correct, Chris?
Correct.
Correct. All right. Now, listen, there's people paying like $500 for a ticket to this Cub Cardinal game tonight, and you're probably sitting press row, aren't you?
I hear a lot of people paying good money for that. I am in Soldier Field.
Oh, so, you're for the Bears game.
I'll be at Wrigley tomorrow, definitely Sunday, potentially Saturday. So
unbelievable.
It'll be a fun weekend all around Chicago. Good Chicago sports weekend, and of course, Cubs Cardinals. That's the headliner.
I love it, Chris. Thank you so much. We always appreciate your time, my friend.
Always good talking to you guys. Take care.
All right, buddy. Chris Emma, 670thescore.com. Again, follow him on Twitter at CEMA670. Of course, the Bears' first preseason? That's the first preseason game tonight.
My God. Wow. That was a little too authentic. But you are from Camargo.
I'm from Camargo, Illinois.
And live in Villa Grove.
Right.
Or no, live in Philo. Right?
I live in Philo. Yes. Went to school in Villa Grove. Lived in Villa Grove a while, yeah. So I've got a little bit of that.
Does anybody in those, because...
No, nobody talks.
It's the Midwestern accent around here.
Right. Nobody
Which is usually pretty muted.
It is funny because I was one time down in, I think Florida, I guess, and I was talking to some people, and this one girl looks at me, and she's like, oh my gosh, you're from like Chicago. And I'm like, I am? And they're like, well, yeah, you've got such a northern accent.
That's bizarre.
I'm like, really? See, I've always heard like a lot of the NBC, CBS, ABC, like a lot of those broadcasters are all Midwest because we are the one area that doesn't have much of an accent.
Which, the Midwestern accent is the same thing as saying you don't really have an accent.
Right, exactly. Yeah. So that means we're not cool with the ladies.
Hey, I got an idea for the next segment, and that is a falsehood.
Oh, okay.
By the way.
Okay. They still like our accent.
Yes. Yeah.
Other Midwestern girls like our accent.
We are more flexible. You can put us in any social situation, and we aren't going to stand out in any sort of annoying way.
You know what? We're cool like that.
I want to. So we were talking about Chris Bryant. We're going to get to an ESPN update
a bunch
here.
Of calls and texts from parents that their kids have cussed at them and they didn't mean to.
Yes, well, we can effort that on the Chief Bauer text line and the Jupiters of the Crossing phone line. But what I was thinking of is Chris Bryant. I went to look at his stats this year. His on-base percentage is about .375, which is pretty good. But then I started thinking about how does that compare to other greats?
Okay.
Well, .375 is not up there with the highest single-season OBP. For instance, the highest single-season OBP record, 609.
Wow.
Guess who?
Well, why don't we tease it?
Okay, so what we'll do is
Are you going to have
things.
a list?
I'm going to have a list.
Sweet.
I'll start with the highest single season of all time, but then I'll just go career OBP.
Okay.
And I'm guessing that the career OBP leaders in baseball history are probably all Hall of Famers.
Yeah, I would agree.
So we'll do that in the next segment.
We'll do that. Update time, baby.
It's time for the update. Illini basketball. It sounds like bad news. Frank Cusimano of ASDK Sports tweeted this around noon. Fans of SLU Billikens, I believe, are going to get some great news about the best basketball player in St. Louis, Jordan Goodwin, soon. Goodwin is a 4-star shooting guard from Belleville, Illinois, and a top 50 prospect in the country. He was considered almost a lock to commit to the U of I a month ago, but SLU has slowly crept its way into the conversation. Olympics, Simone Biles won the individual all-around, and Allie Raisman took second. NBA LeBron James signed a 3-year, $100 million deal with the Cavaliers. Baseball, it's time for the biggest rivalry the Midwest has to offer.
Yeah,
besides
baby,
the new
White
rivalry.
Sox and Indians.
Yeah, it's close.
Oh, okay.
It's Cubs-Cardinals, though, in case you're wondering.
Got it.
I know you don't really want to talk about that, but...
Oh, stop it.
We're going to have to.
You still haven't beaten us at Wrigley.
Oh, yeah, coming in hot. Cubs have won a season-high 9 games in a row, have posted a 2.31 starting pitcher ERA since the All-Star break, and are 30 games over 500 through 112 games. The Cardinals are coming in a bit cold. They've only won 4 of 9 games against the Reds and Braves over the past week. 2 teams that are combined 49 games under 500 and have fallen 12 games back in the Central Division. Matchup is Carlos Martinez versus John Lester. Lester gave up 2 runs over 7 innings in his last outing against the A's en route to his 12th win of the season. Martinez didn't do quite so hot. He gave up 6 earned runs and 2 homers to the normally offensively deficient Braves. Off the field, Matt Adams is heading to the DL. Shoulder inflammation. Randall Grichuk recalled from AAA. Pedro Strop is a torn meniscus, out 4 to 6 weeks. Justin Grimm brought up to replace him. White Sox have a rubber match with the Royals tonight. Miguel Gonzalez versus Danny Duffy. Duffy's been great this year since becoming a starter in May, 8-1 with a 2.97 ERA, and the Royals are 13-3 when he toes the rubber. Other news, A-Rod officially in the starting lineup tonight as a DH. Tomorrow is scheduled his last day and will be released after, but there's a 95% chance of rain in the Bronx. It's rained out. What do they do?
What do they do, Cart?
I don't know. Girardi's kind of mishandled this whole thing. I'm not impressed with.
Wow.
Because he said, I'm not in the business of farewell tours. This coming 2 years after Derek Jeter had an entire season.
Oh, absolutely. And Rivera did the year before, right?
The year after.
Or the year after.
Oh, wait, no, the year before. You're right.
The year before.
Yep, you got it.
All right, Nathan, thank you, buddy, on that. Hey, people who work and live in Champaign-Urbana, people who care about you achieving your goals at work and making it easy. Well, I'm describing CMI and their owners, Betsy and Brad Parks, for janitorial supplies, washing, laundry products, and things your business needs to keep up operations. CMIClean.com is where you should go. CMIClean.com. Work with local folks who keep it local. Call Betsy and Brad Parks at 359-6262. That's 359-6262 or CMIClean.com online. It is the Tay and J Show.
It seems like in every home, there's at least one room that's either too hot or too cold. Well, it doesn't have to be that way. Mitsubishi Electric has your comfort solution. Mitsubishi Electric cooling and heating systems are up to 40% more efficient with no ductwork and whisper quiet. Individual room control, giving you the freedom to find your perfect comfort level and save money too. Make your whole home comfortable again. See Lance Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing for your comfort solution and live better.
Hi, I'm Troy Lands from Lands Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. Lands is your local Mitsubishi Electric Diamond dealer. Our technicians are experts at solving your comfort needs, one room or your whole house. Let us show you how a Mitsubishi Electric Heating and Cooling System can save you money now. Your comfort is our priority. Call Lands today at 1-800-AIR-REPAIR or find us online at landsinc.com. I'm Troy Lands, and you can count on my company because you can count on me.
Eat, shop, play, explore. Rediscover Campus Town every Thursday from May 19th to August 11th during 13 Thursdays. You can find great deals on clothing, accessories, and food each Thursday at participating campus businesses. Win big this summer when you shop and eat your way through Campus Town. Pick up a game card at participating businesses. Shop and eat at each one by August 11th. Turn in your card and we'll enter you to win great prizes. Visit ChampaignCenter.com for more information. 13 Thursdays, presented by the Champaign Center Partnership and the Urbana Business Association.
Your dreams require dedication and innovation, and Busey is the trusted advisor to make those dreams reality. Whether you're saving for your child's education, keeping the family in the family business, or planning your dream retirement, Busey's team can help. Visit Busey.com or stop by one of our many convenient locations for solutions to your banking and wealth management needs. Busey, your dream, our promise. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
Matthew 6:24 states, "No one can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one or love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. Serve God, our Heavenly Father, and money will not be an issue. God will provide for you if you seek Him and serve Him by serving others." How can you serve the Lord today? This message brought to you by the Blossom Basket Florist.
The Blossom Basket Florist. The florist you pick.
When your computer's not working, you're not working. Hi, this is Dan from Simplified Computers. Whether your computer is running slow, you have a virus, or it's just time for an upgrade, Simplified Computers is here to help with personal service you won't find at the big box stores. We can set up your wireless network, build, install, and maintain your business's server, or replace your hard drive. For over 18 years, we have served the Champaign-Urbana community with integrity and quality customer service. Call us at 352-5000. Simplified Computers, simply the best.
Join Firehouse in Campustown this weekend for Tip a Firefighter. This Saturday, August 13th, starting at 4 p.m., it's the third annual Tip a Firefighter at Firehouse. Join Champaign firefighters as they guest serve food, and all tips received during the event help local firefighters, with a portion also going to local charities. Come meet Champaign's finest and get some great food and drinks at this family-friendly event. Firefighters will have helmets and bracelets for kids. There'll also be a silent auction, 50-50 raffle, and the Killer Bee Honey Band starts at 7. It's the third annual Tip a Firefighter at Firehouse, 708 South 6th Street in Campustown and Champaign, and online at firehousebar.com.
Hello, this is Shane Coulter of Country Arbors Nursery. Did you lose a tree over the winter? Do you live in a new home and the sun is beating down on your yard or house? Or maybe you've just been putting off year after year, coming up with an excuse why you haven't planted a tree. In any case, now is the time to let Country Arbors plant a tree for you. For a short time, Country Arbors is discounting the planting charge of all our trees. Why would you want to go through the work of hauling and planting a 10-foot tall, beautiful tree when Country Arbors will do all the work for just $100 and will guarantee our work for up to 5 years? So schedule your tree planting today. You can visit countryarbors.com for more information and directions.
Heating, cooling, or plumbing problems in your home or business? Why call and coordinate multiple contractors when you can make just one call? Matix Service has over 22 years of experience in heating, cooling, and plumbing. Matix offers high-efficiency train equipment that is reliable. And Matix provides 24/7 service calls at regular service rates. Visit mattexservice.com. It's hard to stop a train.
Hi, I'm Habib, CEO of BPC, and this is your Motivational Minute. John Maxwell, the internationally admired guru of leadership, wrote that we should give people the AAA treatment, that people feel much better when you give them attention, affirmation, and appreciation. He quotes this: "A gossip is one who talks to you about other people. A bore is one who talks to you about himself, and a brilliant conversationalist is one who talks to you about yourself." John Maxwell has been an inspiration for me for several decades. He has written many best-selling books about leadership. Everyone who reads his books or conferences has been motivated and energized. That's why I'm hosting his Live to Lead event here in Champaign at the Virginia Theater in October. Tickets are on sale, so go get them while early bird pricing is in effect. You can buy the tickets online at the Virginia's website or by calling their ticket office at 217-356-9063. I'm Habib, looking forward to joining you and getting inspired and motivated by one of the world's best motivators, John Maxwell.
Can't find the Cubs on TV? No problem. Listen to them on our sister station, Sunny 95.3. Champaign-Urbana's home for soft rock favorites from then and now, and Cubs baseball.
If you are behind on your bills, then this message is for you. How would you like to have a large portion of your credit card debt or medical bills forgiven? National Credit Card Relief would like to give you free information on a proven debt forgiveness program. It's not bankruptcy. It's not consolidation. This special program actually wipes clean the portion of your debt that is forgiven. Call for your free forgiveness information now. 800-291-6670. That's 800-291-6670. Don't wait. Call 800-291-6670. Not available in North Dakota.
Coach Mike Ditka is not just talking sports. What will he say next? Hear him here Monday and Friday mornings from 7:30 to 8 with Brother Johnny and me, Stevie J, on ESPN Radio 93.5.
Oh, you little
feisty combo during the break.
Scared there?
No, we can talk about anything we want to on the show. We had a bit of a social conversation.
We did
about a new Hollywood film coming out. But Or a sports show.
This song kind of reminds me of my favorite song here that we have on our... Doesn't it? It's got the same riff, doesn't it?
Oh, you're right. A little bit.
Yeah, baby. Mr. Bone. I do not endorse kids of any age to listen to Mr. Bone.
I have no idea what the song's about.
Great White.
The title doesn't give it away.
No, not at all. Hey, it's the Tay and J Show. Lante, Jeremy Warner. We need to spill the beans. Gosh dang it, Mike
That's
Carpenter.
the second time the last 2 days.
I told you I don't like you.
Man, the Jordan Goodwin thing has really just set this thing afire.
I have no idea what I'm doing right now.
So we'll recap real quick. Then we're going to switch topics because we have a list in the show.
I'm shutting off my mic right now
Mm-hmm.
so that you can recap this, and then I can say exactly what I want while you're recapping it, but nobody will hear it.
Okay.
Okay, 3, 2, 1, go.
Here I go. There was a tweet earlier today from Frank Cusimano, St. Louis sports guy from
I know him.
Yes, from CBS Sports 920 AM and KSDK. And he tweeted, fans of Salou Billikens, I believe we're going to get some great news about the best basketball player in St. Louis, Jordan Goodwin, soon.
What?
We had Derek Piper on. My mic still picked that up a little bit.
You have to be me. I didn't actually come.
That's okay. He didn't.
I did.
It was silent. For those that are lip reading on the YouTube feed.
Well, you should have been watching.
Yeah. So that's where we stand.
Being serious, this is a blow to that 2017 class. Yes. If indeed, and Frank thinks that maybe either tomorrow or even Monday it could come down that Jeremy, or whatever his name is, Jordan Goodwin, I've already forgotten his name, says yes to SLU and no to you, Illinois. I cannot believe this.
It sucks.
It does. I'm sorry. If you're just tuning in, we have been serious as all get out. That's a hick term.
Can't we just get? I don't want a break. I want a bunch of breaks all at once.
You and Jeremy always use
because of Wayne's World.
Oh, is that what it is?
Yeah, because there's a scene.
I knew there'd be some kind of a connection.
Wayne gets a present from his girlfriend, and she gets him a gun. His ex-girlfriend. She gets him a gun rack.
Got it.
And he says, "A gun rack." I don't even own a gun, let alone the many guns it would take to necessitate a rack.
I knew there would be something.
So, Jeremy does it. I do it. All my friends do it.
Do you really?
Yeah, I think if you were like our age and grew up with SNL, Wayne's World, that gun rack.
That is so funny.
Yeah.
Hey, we got to do this list you were talking about. Zach, though, said, Lon, would you want the Cardinals to sign Ichiro next year? What role would he play? I really don't.
Yeah.
I like Ichiro, but no.
That ship has sailed.
Yeah, I agree. Unless he wants to sign for $2 million and just hit off the bench.
We got a list.
That'd be okay. You want to do it?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. I haven't heard this in years.
He's got a list. Jeremy has got a list. He's got a list. Jeremy has got a list. Because we love to go through lists.
You ready to go, Lon? All right, take it away. All right.
Well, I'm gonna go golf tomorrow and maybe drink. I don't want to, but I got to do it. And this is one of the worst ones. I stink. I can't. It's Jordan Goodwin's fault.
I like you had one where it was like peanut butter jelly in my it just.
I know. I've not. The very first time I did that was good, and the last two I haven't.
Okay, so this is
10.
We were talking with Chris M about Chris Bryant.
We have to go kind of quick.
And his MVP aspirations, which look pretty good this year. But his OBP, for some reason, I went straight to that on Baseball Reference.
On
375
base percentage.
375, which is pretty good.
Yeah.
Well, it's really good by most standards. But historically, there have been some unbelievable on-base percentage career guys.
Okay.
Highest single season was 609 for Barry Bonds.
Oh, I was going to go Ricky Henderson.
No. Okay, so just in the top 10 here, just start throwing out names of all-time baseball players you think would be high on-base percentage.
I would say Pete Rose.
Pete Rose is not in the top 20.
Wow, really?
No.
All-time career hits, not up there.
On-base percentage.
Let's go. You need a lot of walks here. How about, Mickey Mantle? Are we going back to those
Mickey
days?
Mantle is 18.
Willie Mays.
Willie Mays is...
So these are all retired players, right? This is going to take me forever, dude.
Okay.
You're going to have to just go through
Yeah,
it.
Willie Mays is 140. Okay, you ready for this? The top 10?
Willie
top 10.
Mays isn't in this?
No,
Then
he's 140.
The OBP then means nothing.
Number 10, Jimmy Fox, 428.
Yeah.
Ty Cobb, 433.
That's funny. I was going to say Ty Cobb.
Number 8, Rogers Hornsby, 4337.
Former Cardinal.
Bill Joyce, that's an old school name, I guess, 434. Barry Bonds is 6 all time, 444.
Okay.
Lou Gehrig, 447. Number 4, not this Billy Hamilton, but way back in the day.
Yep.
4.55. The top 3, John McGraw at 4.65. Number 2, Babe Ruth, 4.73. Number 1, Boston Red Sox,
Carl Yastrzemski?
Ted Williams with a 481.
The kid.
481 career on base percentage.
Wow. Ted Williams, probably the best hitter ever. Stan Musial? Where's Stan Musial?
Oh, man. Stan Musial, let me look that up real quick as you're doing the particulars.
Man, yeah, I want to thank, let's see, who do we have today? We had the Mettler Center Physical Therapy Injury Report. Jeff Schroeder talked about Michael Waka, also Pedro Strop. I had Mark Tupper on, Decatur Herald Review, Derek Piper, IlliniInquirer.com, Frank Cusimano, KSDK in St. Louis, also CBS Sports 920 AM, and we also visited with Chris Emma, 670 The Score.
Stan Musial, 22nd all-time on-base percentage. There was one active guy in the top 20, Joey Votto.
Oh, well, I would believe that.
423.
Wow, if you got to walk a lot to get up in that list.
Yep, Miguel Cabrera is the only other one, 63 at 398.
Okay, all right, buddy. Hey, you and your family have a great vacation.
Thank you, sir. I will see you the week of the 22nd. We're getting closer to football, thank God.
All right, well, but that means closer to cold.
That's okay. Fall's going to be nice.
Okay, all right, I trust you. All right, thanks to Nathan DeSutter, our update man, and that's it. I'm out.
All right, yeah, more. See you.
Tay and J Show.
Hey, this is Brad again with Kramer Siding and Window Company, and for over 60 years, we've been your go-to home improvement company. We not only do siding and windows, but we also do roofing, sunrooms, decks, pergolas, awnings, and the gutter helmet. So if you need some of those things on that honey-do list taken care of, call us right now, take advantage of our tremendous savings, plus our 18-month no-interest financing, and be sure to stop by our beautiful showroom at 708 North Country Fair Drive.
Monticello's newest bar and grill is Fieldhouse 219, serving up a full menu featuring gourmet burgers, sandwiches, wraps, and more. It's worth a drive to Fieldhouse 219 for sports and live entertainment. Watch your favorite sports teams on one of their 6 big screen TVs while enjoying a cold drink and one of their daily specials. And come back each weekend for live music at Fieldhouse in Monticello. Open Tuesday through Saturday. Make it Fieldhouse 219 for sports, food, drinks, and live entertainment. Fieldhouse 219, 219 West Washington Street on the corner of Washington and Market in downtown Monticello.
Guidance, trust, protection, service. It's the mantra of GTPS Insurance. Finding the perfect solution for you, guiding you through the options, helping you through a claim, and adapting to your evolving needs. Since 1997, GTPS Insurance has provided coverage for your car, your home, your business, and your life. As an independent broker, GTPS Insurance Agency will shop around until they find the right coverage at the best price. Contact a GTPS Insurance agent today at 359-9000 or visit online at GTPSinsurance.com.
Hey, Scott Johnson here at Champaign Chrysler Dodge Jeep Ram. August 25th is Champaign Chrysler's first annual Champaign County Law Enforcement Golf Outing. Range balls, prizes, raffles, lunch, and dinner provided. Golfing is a scramble format beginning at 1 o'clock. Registration beginning at 11:30. All proceeds are going to local law enforcement. For more information, call me, Scott, at 217-352-4273. That's 217-